This is the Pine Men.
Hello, everyone, and welcome
Ooh,
to another episode of the Pine Men.
hell yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we're back, and weirdly enough, I mean, it's been 6 days, and since then, we're experiencing a little bit of a hostile takeover by religious zealots occupying branches of the United States government and working against
It's
the will of the
fucking wild
people.
shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild shit.
Yeah.
It honestly, like, hearing some people talk about it over the past few days, it really felt like, wow, like they've just straight up been planning this forever,
Yeah.
and now they're getting it done.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way it seems, by
Mhm.
most accounts, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was gonna jump right into that, but I mean, I don't know. It's on the mind. It's
Couldn't help
on
it.
the mind of everyone.
Yeah.
I'm sure. You know,
Yeah, seriously.
that's freedom, baby.
Yeah. Yep. Golly. Fucking.
When I think about freedom, I think about making sure that the big bad government isn't telling me what I can do. I want the small state government to tell me what I can't do. That's freedom, baby. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah.
Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Come on.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, oh my god. And you know what? There's so many people like really are not. Well, see, this is the thing. It's strange. I feel like people don't see it for what it really is. Kind of both, on both sides. It's like, I don't know. How do I phrase this? I was talking about it the other day. It's like, why are people on the left so upset about the overturning of Roe? Generally.
Is that rhetorical? Or you want
No,
my
no, I'm
answer?
asking.
Well, because it takes away rights from people.
Yeah, but it's like,
There's more to it, obviously, but I mean, I don't know how deep you are. I mean, because it also sets the
I'm thinking
precedent
more
that
so.
they're going to start rolling back. I mean, who knows? You think it's going to end here? I don't know. I don't think so, right? Especially by their own words.
Yeah.
I mean, Clarence Thomas is saying we should look into gay marriage. We should look into access to contraception. We should look into what were some of the other things? I'm not sure, but yeah, good stuff.
And it's like, have you heard like the stuff that it's like? Because is it fully about like religious zealotry, or is it like they want they want more? Because like the idea that like reproduction, having more children. There's something that seems more like almost insidious about that outside of just like a moralistic standpoint on stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah.
It feels very like, capitalist.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've thought about that. Yeah. Are you talking about the fact that they want more people born into desperate situations so that more people would be willing to work for low wages and they have a steady flow of desperate people to fill those jobs?
Yes.
To extract their value from. Yeah.
Well, that brings me back around, I guess, to like what I was trying to get at before about what is the left upset about? Because like it's like, having the right, or just being able to get an abortion if you need to or want to even.
Yeah.
Is and then because I feel like the argument is always just like from the moralistic standpoint, but I just really feel like it's so much creepier than that.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I would go so far as to say that I really believe that, and I know this is a thing, there are there are people who believe that, like, one of the big issues with the world today is, like, when women started, entering the workforce and things like that. Because then, think about what they talk about all the time. Where everybody's upset about, rising prices and cost of living and stuff like that. All right, well, it must be because women are now working, and now companies see that people are willing to have two people in the household work. So we don't have to pay each individual so much, because all they need is the bare minimum to survive, and we could divide that now amongst two people. And then they're also going to complain about how, family values, they're not the same as they were. We need the women at home raising the children, teaching them values, American traditional Christian values, And it's like, I mean, let's not let these women go out there and do what they want, because, we can't trust them to do what they want. They'll do the wrong thing in our eyes. We own them, don't you know? And it's like, without saying it, let's be honest, that's kind of the implication. Kind of the implication. If you're even having the discussion that you should be allowed to legislate whether or not they're allowed to, like, live their lives in the way that they see fit, and, like, putting up, like, literally denying them, like, access to medical care in a way that's going to force them to, like, get into a situation that they don't want to be in, where now they're on the hook for raising a child and they can't focus on their career or their own future and stuff like that, taking away their autonomy. It's like, not only just medical, but, like, to live their life and pursue the future that they want for themselves. It's like, what else are you saying besides, don't you know we own you? You're not allowed to do that. Yeah. You want to live for yourself? How dare you? Get back in your place. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just, you would think, I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of outrage about this, and, we're exposed to that based off, like, the media that we consume and things like that, and the circles that we pay attention to, but I don't think people realize, I don't think just normal people who are going around just trying to live their lives, getting by, just living, not really obsessing over this stuff, I don't think they realize, like, how fucked up this is really going to be, like.
Yeah.
I don't know. The fact that it's like, we're moving to a point where, we're at the point where it's like, hold up. You know what the problem is here? I know people are talking about, let's make healthcare a right. Let's make, whatever, like, the right to join a union without being stomped on by big money from the corporations and whatever. The right to, go to college without going into debt forever. That conversation happens. And these fucking people turned around and said, no, the real problem? It's women. We got to make sure that they get back in their place. Yeah. And we can't be letting them participate in society. Yeah. What are you, crazy? Like,
oh my God, you just made it. Think about that, right? It's like, the only step, right? Next step would be, like, what you were saying, like, healthcare, and college. And, like, that's, like, we've progressed so far. And then the conservatives like, no, we got to start dialing this shit back. Yeah, right. We can't let that stuff happen.
Right. We have actually hit a point where people are like, let's start rolling back some of these rights. We can't be doing this.
Yeah.
Like,
progress. Ooh.
Yeah. And that's what I mean when I say, like, that's what I was trying to get at. I didn't really make my point that clear. But when I was saying, like, yeah, people are upset, but I don't think people realize how bad this really is. It's like, we are at the point where they are openly looking you in the eyes and saying, we're taking away your rights now. You understand this, right? We're taking them away. You're losing rights. And that's just the way it is. Get used to it. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. That's... And they're saying, oh, what's up? Like, the overwhelming majority of people don't want Roe vs. Wade to go away. We're just going to do it anyway. And you're going to deal with it. And they know that the just I don't even know the right word. Like, just the useless government that's in power right now is not going to do anything. They just can do it. And they could say, yeah, I'm going to make it, we're going to codify Roe vs. Wade into law. And if you don't like it, deal with it in the courts. And then that'll take months or years, and people are protected for a few years, and, they can work on it. That's your job. You're a political party. You're supposed to be an opposition party to the Republicans. Do something. Don't just sit there. Actually, this brings me to a good thing if you want to watch this quick little clip from the Majority Report.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. All right, so this is a clip, like I said, from the award-winning Majority Report with Sam Cedar.
How many awards do they got? Five?
What do they say? 5? I haven't seen the intro as many times as you. I'm usually asleep at that time. No, I'm just kidding. I used to be asleep at that time. Keep in mind, it starts at noon here in New York, so. But no. But yeah, so let's check this out. We got the title, MSNBC Schooled by Pro-Choice Activists on Democratic Leadership's Failures. This is important. If anyone ever watches this, just, if you disagree right now, just try to understand where these people are coming from. Although I don't understand how anyone could disagree with this, but yeah, so let's check it out. I'll just skip straight to, I have it set up where it's going to go. You want to watch Sam preface it just to get the context, or what?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'll just start it from the beginning of the video. It's only like 20 seconds extra. Okay.
There have been protests around the country in the wake of the overturning of Roe v. Wade and the subsequent abortion bans that have taken place that were triggered automatically in 13 states across the country. And we anticipate about another 13 states who are launching up their abortion bans. Here is 2 protesters. This is out in front of the Supreme Court. This is on MSNBC, and they're smart.
So I received a text message from Joe Biden's campaign yesterday saying that the Supreme Court had overturned Roe versus Wade, and that it was my responsibility to then rush $15 to the Democratic National Party. And I thought that was absolutely outrageous, because my rights should not be a fundraising point for them or a campaigning point. They have had multiple opportunities to codify Roe into law over the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they haven't done it. And if they're going to keep campaigning on this point, they should actually do something about it.
What are you most worried about, Julian?
I'm most worried about what comes next, because Roe versus Wade was a precedent for Obergefell versus Hodges, Loving versus Virginia, Irving versus Texas, gay marriage, interracial marriage, and privacy in the bedroom. And those, as Clarence Thomas came out yesterday, they're going to be falling like dominoes.
You come from Texas. You're in
Yes.
Austin, Texas. There's a trigger law in place in Austin in 30 days.
Yes.
Abortion's going to be banned in your state.
Abortion has been banned at 6 weeks in my state since last September, which is an essential all-out ban, because most women don't even realize they're pregnant before that point. And there are women in Texas who've already died and have already been arrested for having an abortion or a miscarriage, because we can't really tell that.
It seems like you have obvious anger towards the Democratic Party because you feel as if they've missed chances to codify Roe up until this point, and then here we are. What does that mean for you when it comes to the midterm elections and getting more Democrats elected to move forward with trying to codify Roe?
Well, when it comes down to the primaries, which I think are coming up in the next couple months, it means that we need to get as many people to the polls as possible to vote for more progressive Democrats. We need to get the old white Democrats out of office and put in new, younger people who will actually defend the rights of women and people all over.
I mean,
how can anyone disagree with that? How can one person watch that and be like, yeah, no, that's not true? How can
the
someone think that?
the fact that everyone, I think basically everyone agrees that the Democratic Party is bullshit and that they don't do anything.
Yeah.
But they always, and I guess like, a vote for the Democratic Party, and I feel like we've said it on here before, is a vote against the Republicans.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're just are okay with that, and we keep, it's like, we're like, yeah. But I mean, what is there to do? How do we get them to actually do shit? Stop giving them money, probably. But
yeah, I mean, look, I hope that this isn't just from hearing some of the good things, like hearing people talk about things like that. like, granted, they're at a protest. They're clearly like aware of the situation and they feel passionately, so they have the knowledge to say those true things, you know what I mean? Where a lot of people probably don't even think about that, But I do think that I feel like this is where I'm saying I hope I'm not just being too optimistic, but I do feel like people are starting to realize, like, okay, hold up. Like, it's kind of like the perfect recipe where it's like, all right, there was Obama. I don't know. It didn't seem like he did that much good stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't know. Okay, Trump, he says he's going to do something different. Like, let's see. Okay, let's see if he does. Oh, shit, he's doing all this other stuff that's like, damn, the country's turning into like, well, the country is like now like not afraid anymore. Well, I don't know if they were ever really afraid, but like the country is just, a lot of people in the country are now openly saying things like, when someone says Black Lives Matter, people are like, all lives matter. Basically meaning, shut up with that, basically, let's be honest. I mean, I don't think that's some kind of deep analysis right there, but it's like, yeah, people will just do that. People will be like, oh, you know what? Like, I don't care. I just want to lock her up. I want to own the libs. And, not to defend Hillary Clinton, obviously. Like, I would never. But, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, people see it like, okay, let's try this. Okay, this is what we get from Trump. All right, we got to get rid of that. All right, let's try Biden. He's going to fix it up, right? All right, let's do it. Let's, bite the bullet and do Biden. Oh, fuck. He's not doing anything that we want. Okay, what comes next? I'm just hoping that people are not stupid enough to be like, well, Joe Biden's a Democrat and he didn't do what I wanted, so I got to go Republican this time, baby. Because he's going to do what I want. I just hope people realize, like, okay, this doesn't work for us. Who are the people who are saying, let's make this work for us? It's only like the leftists, or, the progressives as they call it, which, it's great or whatever. But it's like, it's only them. They're the only ones who are actually saying things like, we'll solve this by doing this. Not just like, the problem here is the lack of family values in the... Like, bro, what's your plan? What are you going to do? You're going to make a law that says we make it be, you have to do family values? Well, their idea of making a law that says you have to do family values is saying you're forced to have that baby no matter what, And they think that's like the problem. It's them damn women not having the babies. That's the problem. No, you dumbass. It's the fact that we live to consume and produce while not getting the benefits of what we produce and failing to afford what we want, what we have been told we want to consume, and those are the very things we produce. And I just hope the tipping point is just about here. I hope it's here already, where people realize, like, we should have went with, like, Bernie, and I'm not saying he's perfect, but we should have just went with Bernie. Let's try to give me another chance, and I'll do the right thing this time. I hope that's what people are thinking when it's time to vote and when it's time to support somebody before the goddamn vote, because not to be like, yeah, I'll vote for Bernie, because guess what? They're going to fuck him over anyway, or they'll fuck over whoever is, like, the Bernie-type candidate. They'll fuck them over before you realize it. You know what I mean? They're not going to be in the general election unless they have overwhelming support in the primaries. Like, oh, God, I wish I could say this to more people, but, like, it's just so... Yeah.
No, I mean, you got to just keep saying it, though. You got to keep saying it.
Yeah,
that's the only, it's a cultural shift that needs to happen big time. To, like, people are just so generally afraid of change. Like, they're afraid of, like I mean, basically, like, we cling to capitalism and, like, consumerism as if it's like, it's like a crutch or a cross to bear or whatever, and, like, we can't shed that. Like, it's very difficult. It's like, who am I if I don't buy my toys?
Yeah.
Who am I? Who am I without my shows? I need my shows and all this stuff. And, like, people get really attached to, like, this relationship with the world that is, I would say, dangerously unhealthy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's like, at the end of the day, like, how do I know who I am if I don't wear a shirt that has a funny saying about my profession? Don't you know? Like, it's like, plumbers lay pipe. Yeah, or whatever. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's like, or just like whatever. Like, I don't know, just feeling good about the fact that you're like, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like if you make enough money, it's no longer about the job title. It's about letting people know how much money you have. If you don't make enough money and you're exploited, it's about being proud to be a hard worker. You know what I mean? It's like it goes so deep. It's just the indoctrination is just like built into the culture so much that people identify themselves as a human being with that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
they think that they are what they consume and do. It's just or do.
It's so
by
wild
do
too,
I mean
No, I know, but like it's so wild because like the more I talk about this stuff, the more I thought it was like just obvious and everyone knew it and we were just coping with it. But like a lot of people really like are not thinking about it like this at all.
Right.
And then you say something like this and like, in the right way, when you start talking about consumerism and like, what are we doing here? Why are you so worried about money in the first place? Why are you so sad still?
Right.
And then all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, yeah, maybe like don't need to work so hard for nothing.
Right,
or,
for nothing. That's
anything,
the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee all those people who don't want to work hard for nothing would work hard for something that they cared about. You know what I mean? We all work hard for things we care about. We're all here. We're moving around. We're doing stuff. We're surviving. It's just you're the one thing that you're supposed to feel like a piece of shit if you're not doing is contributing. And by contributing, not to society. They say it's to society, but really it's to the bank accounts or the whatever, the profits of whatever company you work for, and participating in the economy by owning a home and leasing a vehicle and just going out to restaurants and buying stuff on Amazon so you can feel good for 30 seconds because the plastic toy arrived in the mail. Yay.
Yeah. Well, the thing about restaurants too is like we don't even treat these things with respect, really. Like our idea of like the cultural aspect of like dining and like because there is a beauty to some types of consumerism, right? Like I just wish that we had put like more like love into the stuff that we were doing, right? Because there's like, for example, there's like so many restaurants, right? There's so many restaurants, especially if you're in a city.
Yeah.
And like majority of them are like literally like advertised to a specific demographic. They're not putting their personality into the restaurant. They're trying to sell you. They're trying to make the point of the restaurant is to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wish so bad that like, every restaurant that opened was like some person who was really psyched about showing people this food.
Right. Instead of some person who says, oh my God, there's a lot of young people living in this area. Let's kind of do like a Brooklyn dive bar type aesthetic, and we'll but we'll have like slightly more gourmet food at a low price point. We'll just make a burger with like Gruyere cheese on it or some shit or whatever, and charge like $17 or something. It's like, come on,
and they'll
bro.
fucking eat that shit up. They'll love it. They'll love it.
Right. We'll pour our beers in like a glass that looks slightly different than you would see at a normal bar. We'll put it in a mason jar instead of a fucking glass. Like,
yeah.
And that's your passion, dude. Like, that's what you wanted to do. That's your dream. No, your dream is to get that Mercedes so that you can impress the girl that you wish was your wife. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's so, I don't know. Yeah, there's some restaurants you go, and bars and stuff. You go in there and you just know that it's basically like going into like I don't know, like an actually themed like restaurant. Like you go to like Disneyland or something, and you're like walk in and you're like, oh, they're going for that.
Yeah. We're dealing with the Applebee's.
Like,
we are now at a point where we're in a post Applebee's society right now. Like, Applebee's started off, well, I don't know this as like the history of Applebee's, but you look at the inside of an Applebee's, for those of us who have been inside my You know, we're all trying to recover from that experience.
We've all been inside.
Yeah. It's like you enter the Applebee's and you see on the walls local high school, football team photos and stuff like that. You see like little knickknacks, like a hockey stick on the thing, and like
all over.
That's what how they design it to seem
An
like
old bicycle.
yeah, it's that local place. We grew up here, and so like they were obviously trying to use like a local hole in the wall type place aesthetic to seem more authentic and not as corporate. We are at the point where it's like it's almost like you go to seemingly local places in like cities and whatever, and they're going for that same vibe. Like not exactly like the Applebee's vibe, but they're using the same strategy, I should say.
Yes.
Like they're using the strategy. Yeah, like you said, like what's the demographic here? How can we make this work? Like all right, we'll make it be like a little divey with like wooden chairs and like a wood floor that's like sort of unfinished and like a little bit like scuffed up, but we'll have like our bartender is going to be wearing like a vest over his button-down shirt and tie, and he'll serve you a Manhattan to make you feel like you're living the good life. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, what are you doing? What do you does you walk in there and you get the Manhattan and you actually does that make you feel like you did a good job or something like that? And the answer is yes. For most people, honestly, the answer is yes. And I'm included sometimes.
This place is really cool.
Yeah, right?
I love this place.
yeah.
Ooh.
But you just got to be aware that that's what we're doing here, man. Like we're not living it up. We're drinking poison to make ourselves feel good for once, and that's fine. I mean,
so we
I'm
can
not
forget the fact that we had to work for 9 hours, 10 hours today.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And we like adopt, sort of adopt the look. We're kind of just talking about looks right now. You know what I mean? It's like we kind of that look of like you got the button-down shirt on with the tie, but it's unbuttoned on the top button. You know what I mean? And the tie's a little loosened and stuff, and you're kind of just like hanging out, being that guy. That's like a bit of a vibe to it in and of itself. You know what I mean? Like in this sick world, it's like, yeah, it's like happy hour. We're out here having fun. It's like that scene that I'm describing is depicted in movies and music videos and stuff like that because it's just a relatable thing, and it's like it's being turned into something to consume the, I don't want to call it nostalgia because it's happening now, but consume the relatability of your shitty life and enjoy the sorrow of it. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
That's kind of what's going on, right? Yeah, like
yeah. Like seriously,
yeah.
I mean, you think about like some of like my favorite pieces of art, whether it be film or books or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's talking about how miserable everything is, and or like dude, that's like, oh god, there's so much to this.
Yeah, right.
Because like, yeah, like the media that we consume, it's so bizarre.
Yeah,
because it goes back to that fucking. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place right now.
No,
so many thoughts.
Do your thing.
Because like the time that we were talking about like they create a problem and then sell you the solution.
Yeah.
That it's that too with media, and then like you get stuck in this like weird loop of like now you're signing up for Netflix to watch the show about how miserable capitalism is.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And you're like, what? What's happening?
After you woke up to your alarm clock, got in the car that you shouldn't have bought, and walked out the door of the house that you could barely afford, you drove to the place you didn't want to be to do a job you don't want to do so that you can get money to pay for all these things that you didn't want. And all you can do is go home and take advantage of that subscription service that you have to pay monthly for access to material that is supposed to be artistic and creative, but you got to pay money for it so that you can at least have something to calm your mind and distract you from your own thoughts while you literally sit on a sofa and sink into it and wallow in the bliss of like just forgetting about what your life really is for at least a little bit until you're too tired to the point where you have to pass out. But it always feels like you didn't have enough time to really enjoy yourself. Because we think that enjoying ourselves is sitting there watching the new show that we're going to be like, you ever see Ozark? Yeah, it's pretty good, right? Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. It's like, that's it, man. That's what it's about.
Well,
know?
here's the thing, dude.
I never saw that show, by the way.
Dude.
Maybe it's good. I don't know.
Neither have I. It might be good. But that's the, that's a fucking thing, too, because people, I mean, I think everybody wants to connect, right?
Yeah.
But, and I think we talked about this, too, with like, how like, this is, like, I don't know, kind of cliche at this point, but like the internet, by supposedly bringing us all closer together, it's actually made us way more distant.
Yeah.
And disconnected from each other. And the whole thing of like, what, like when like that big show comes out and everyone's watching it, and now you have something to talk to everybody about. You can relate to your fellow man via Game of Thrones,
dude. Yeah.
And it's like,
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go.
No, but like it's like, now let's take Game of Thrones away. Maybe we can still do this, but maybe what can we connect on here?
Right.
How do we connect? Maybe you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish there was
so hung up.
Yeah.
So much anxiety around who they are and why they are, and like that they don't have the cool job, so they don't want to talk about that, or like, oh, they don't make enough money, so they don't want to talk about that, or like, it's like, and then that's all that's left. No,
right.
No. It's like,
yeah, and if you don't like the job you have, or the money you have, or the situation you're in, or you're not unhappy with your relationship, so I wish we could get to a point as people where instead of the default being like, oh, well, we don't talk about that, it's a sensitive subject, it could be like, that's what I want to talk about, man. That's what's on my mind, like, and if someone is going to engage with you, there should be, I wish there was a mutual understanding that it's like, I want to know about what's up. You know what I mean? Like, not saying like everybody has to be super personal at the moment they meet somebody, but it feels like sometimes it's not even like, it's just discouraged in a lot of situations. Because like, once again, I believe that comes from a combination of like, it's like professionalism leaks into our everyday lives to the point where like, even when we have our own free time, you're supposed to feel guilty about what you're doing in that free time. Like, why aren't you bettering yourself? Why aren't you learning a new hobby, a new skill? Why aren't you working out? Why aren't you cooking a healthy meal or meal prepping? What are you doing? Like,
right.
It's like, what's wrong with just getting to know somebody and just like getting to know yourself? You know what I mean? Like, not to be too,
that's a huge
I know.
Thing.
Yeah.
I mean, well, and God, it's, and this goes back, this is why we can't actually organize our society in a way that it should be organized, is because we're all fucking broken.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have time to talk about what life's really about, because like we have to go to work. Yeah, then you're so stressed out from work. We've done this fucking loop too.
Yeah,
you're so stressed out from work, and then you're just furious all the time. You're like, I can't fucking deal with fucking Bill's fucking wife's problems. That I don't want to hear about that, or like I don't want to know, like I don't want to think about all these things that are scary and stressful, or like I don't want to think about like the homeless people on the street. I don't want to have to think about that. All this shit, and it's like everyone needs to stop working like this.
Yeah, like this. I agree. Because that's the thing that I realize that we understand each other, me and you, when we talk about things like this, but it's funny you say that. Like, we all have to stop working like this. Because it's like, I don't want people to, I can easily understand how someone would hear a lot of the things that we say, or, I'll speak for myself, even though, whatever, we both say it, but like, a lot of the things I say, and I could see how they can be like, they could take it like, oh, so what do you think? Like, everybody should just give up and not care and just do whatever they feel like all the time? Weirdly enough, I mean, well, I don't know if I convey this properly, but like, that is so far from how I feel. Like, I believe that people want to dedicate themselves to things that they really care about, and when you have that opportunity, it doesn't feel like you're slaving away, doing things like just working hard, grinding all the time. It feels like you're having a good day after a good day after a good day, and you wake up in the morning and it feels like, yeah, like, let's do it. Like, you know, like at nighttime, instead of saying, oh my God, I'm about to fall asleep, but like, all right, let me spend a little more time on Reddit, or like, let me just watch like one more episode, or let me just watch, you know, like whatever. It's a lot of that. Why are you doing that? Because you're trying to delay the inevitable time when you have to go back to the shit you don't want to do, which is the morning when you have to wake up and go to work. You don't want to have to like face the reality that you have to face another day tomorrow. You know what I mean? So you're willing to sacrifice your joy for tomorrow because you just want to avoid it so badly right now and just at least live in the little bit of comfort that you can until the inevitable. Meanwhile, we've all been here before. Every single person has done this before. When there's something that you look forward to, you think to yourself a lot of the time, like, all right, like, let me get ready for it. Like, I'm hyped. I can't wait for that moment to come. You know what I mean? Like, why not, like, if you're doing something, everybody says that corny thing of like, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, right? You know, yeah. But that doesn't mean if you convince yourself that you really like doing fucking data entry into a goddamn computer for some bank, you're gonna love it. No, that's not ever gonna happen. I'm sorry. But it's like, if you, I mean, unless you're a very unique person, I guess. But if you're focusing on the things that you said, I want to do this, I care about this, and I want to do it, you're going to enjoy your life a lot more. But we're so disincentivized from that because not everybody can be a biologist or a scientist or of some sort, or a whatever, or an artist, or a whatever.
Yeah, but we
need people driving the buses and whatever, cleaning up trash.
But the thing
sorry.
One of the big things too, and we talked about this last time as well. But I wanted to interrupt to just make it clear, because the fact that we need to believe that we are any one of these things, period, is part of the problem as well, right? Because there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to do data analysis sometimes and drive a public bus other times.
100%.
And
100%. Yeah.
And the fact that we are pushed into these roles, and like obviously this is our economic system that we live in, where people are heavily incentivized to stay at their job. It's nobody wants to do the same thing every single day.
Right. Yeah.
And it drives us fucking crazy. Literally, look around at all the people. Do they seem regular? Do they seem well? They are regular, but do they seem like they're having a good time?
Yeah. Sometimes that question, really reflect on that question. Yeah. Does it seem like these people are all right? Are they having a good time? Come on. And do you think that's just the way humans are? Do you think we got here by a bunch of people hating their lives? Actually, sadly, we got over the past hundreds of years and, for who knows how long. Yeah, a lot of it has been that. But guess what? Not everybody did. Not everybody hated their lives. A lot of people really, really, really... Well, to be fair, probably almost everybody did. Because I'm sorry, but if you feel the need to have subjects and, control and own people, you're a sick, twisted human being. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right? Like, if someone was like, I'll give you $1 million. I'm going to give you $1 million cash right now. All you have to do is own this human being for the rest of your life. And you have to, like, enslave them and make them do work on your... I'm going to give you a field, and you have to make them work that field for their whole life. And they'll have children, and they're going to work the fields, too. What would you... I would be like, are you fucking insane? Like, obviously I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Unless there was, like, literally some kind of loophole where it's like, yeah, no doubt. Okay, sure. And I'll take the $1 million and be like, all right... Go live your life, bro. I'm not going to enslave you. Yeah, exactly. But like, like if it was like you have to follow through with it and people are going to check up on you every day to make sure you're enslaving this person and you're going to have cameras and stuff, you wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like,
no. That's too much work, honestly.
Well, I mean, you know, that's not the angle I was coming at it from, but I meant like morally, you know. It's like the same
Yeah, no,
idea.
100%.
The idea I'm using to kind of relate to it is the idea of like when people say, I don't understand. If you don't believe in God, what's to stop you from raping and murdering? It's like, bro,
Yeah, because I just don't want to.
if someone paid me $1 million and was like, you gotta do those things right now
Yeah.
to this person, I'd be like, are you fucking insane? Obviously, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and meanwhile, what? These people who are so godly in their ways, like literally, all you gotta do is tell them, convince them, yo, you're not gonna burn in hell if you do this. And they're like, oh shit, really? Okay, I'll do it now. Is that what you're implying, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Are you crazy? Like, I don't know.
I know it's no the religious arguments around these the moralistic stuff has always been so interesting to me, right? The idea of heaven and hell as a concept even is ludicrous.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
good people go
it's
to
like-
heaven and bad people go to hell. Like, what's a good person and a bad person?
yeah.
From whose point
Let's
of
break
view
that
are
shit
we
down.
talking about? Did God live in an inner city, or did he live in a fucking third world country, or did he work was he a slave? Was he a rich man? So who's the good or bad people here? Because it really depends based on who you ask, you know? Like,
Yeah, and then we break down like, you know, murder. Like murder is fine sometimes, you know, if it's for like some geopolitical win, then yeah, sure, you can murder whoever you want. It's fine. You're still go to heaven. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Or you know, best case scenario to defend yourself, you murder somebody. It's okay. It's fine.
yeah.
But like so taking a life is not always bad. Like sometimes it's necessary. Like sometimes taking a life, even if you see it as not a life, maybe it's fine if it's necessary to do, huh?
I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, you know, I'm kind of distracted because right as soon as you said that, I just have this image in my mind of like Joe Biden walking into church one day, and this is every president. I'm just using Joe Biden as an example because I know he's like a church-going man. It's like, I wonder how it is when he walks in there and people look at him and are like, yeah, he drone striked at like some innocent people last weekend. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't feel like that's a little
Go
weird?
into
It's
fucking
like,
confession and be like, I
like-
wiped out a couple of small towns.
yeah, it's like the person before you is like, well, I was dishonest with my spouse. I told her that I was going to pick up groceries, and yes, I did stop for a beer on the way home. You know, it's like, okay. This guy's like, yeah, well, I told the United States and the world that I was going to end terrorism, and then I killed a bunch of kids, you know? Like, like,
Oh my god. God damn.
damn.
God
he's
damn.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
Why are people so confused?
I mean, because it's a calculated effort backed by the most powerful humans in the history of the world to make sure that they stay confused. That's really it, you know?
Yeah, there you go. You said it very well.
Yeah, honestly, as I was saying that, I was like, wow, I'm right about this.
No, this is correct. Yeah.
yeah. That's
God
funny.
damn though.
Yeah, man.
But did you catch what I was saying before about the taking a life when it's necessary thing? It's like the moralistic viewpoint of life and death, and like how that relates to abortion.
Okay. I thought you were going in an abortion direction. Yeah, expand upon that if you want, because I didn't totally wrap my.
It's just like because I hate like I like the blatant contradictions that happen so much when we talk about morals, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
Okay.
like
Yeah.
people are not very logical in their thought process. You know, they're very like just fucking reactionary, knee jerk, fucking emotional fucking infants. But you know, it's like when you really think about it, you know, it's like let's talk about life. Let's talk about what life means. Let's go into it for real. And like, if you want to have that conversation, I'm down. But like, don't pretend like you know shit.
Right. Exactly. And can I, if I can say something,
go.
I have there's
Please.
one specific thing that I find to be unresolvable. I don't know. It's like, okay, look. If someone is going to look at this and say, I don't believe that abortion should be protected because, that fetus or, zygote or whatever, or, 8-month-old fetus, in the womb, 8 months in the womb fetus is a life. Okay? It's a life, right? Now, that's the argument. We'll concede that for this argument. Okay. Now, what about in the most horrendous cases, such as I feel weird even saying this online, but it's picture the worst case scenario, someone is young and they have a family member who is abusive and now they're pregnant, And so now here's the thing. How do you resolve this? You said it's a life, no matter what, right? Can that person have an abortion? If not, if you say no, they can't have an abortion, you believe that when people get into that situation, a act of tremendous violence against a minor by a family member, that's crime on top of crime on top of crime on top of trauma on top, it's the worst thing. You believe, you're going to sit here and say, force that child to have that baby. Force them. Right? Or if not, you're going to turn around and say, well, no. In that case, it should be legal to have the abortion. But you just said that that's a life. So you're saying that abortion is literally murder, but you're saying it's okay to murder that innocent baby in that situation. And listen, I honestly even kind of sympathize for people who I get how that's like a tricky situation if you're coming at it from the point of view, like a base point of view where that makes sense to you. To me and you, that's like, this isn't even a real conversation. It's like, duh, obviously abort the baby if you need to, or if you want to. Yeah. And, in most cases you should, right? Probably in that situation. I don't know, but I would imagine so.
Yeah.
It's like, I get how you can feel like, I don't know, like, it's a life, so yeah, you gotta have the baby, and if you kill the baby, it's murder, but, like, if you are in that situation, it's okay to kill the baby because, like, that's horrific, so, like, yeah, you know what's happening right there, in my opinion? You're experiencing empathy. And just let it happen, man. Just let it happen. You don't gotta be like, no, my convictions are strong and I will not be stricken down by the Lord. I will defend that baby. It's like, that fetus, whatever. It's like, dude, come on. We all know that it's like a mass of cells that's like, indistinguishable from a freaking little dolphin fetus or a whatever.
Well, most of the time
we know intuitively that that's not different. That is so different than a freaking 6-month-old walking around, like crawling around. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. You have to pretend like you don't understand things in order to think that. That's how it feels to me. I just don't know how you can't say, this sucks. I don't want to see women have to go through that process, and I don't want to see potential life be aborted. I don't want to see that.
That's the fucking key word right there, though. Right. Potential.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I don't want to see that. I don't. I would like it if everybody had an amazing life and had children that were amazing. Yay. But that's not the world we live in. Bad things happen to people. Bad situations happen. And you want to look at it and say, take the right away from women. Instead of looking at it and saying, what is it about people's circumstances that make it so that they're reluctant to carry out a pregnancy? What are the situations? Abuse, poverty, well, pretty much, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more, but like their living situation, which relates back to poverty.
Responsibility and stuff too, yeah.
Or just, yeah, exactly. They could be young. It could be just a situation like that. They're not emotionally or, just developmentally ready to really take on that. Yeah. It's like, all right, well, we can, if you really care so much about that unborn life, let's work on situation. Let's improve the situation of people so that people are wanting to have kids if they want. If they want, they could view it as like, yeah, we can handle this. Instead of like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't afford this. Let's be honest. That's a huge thing. I can't afford this. What am I going to do? My life is ruined. Why is your life ruined if you have a kid? And I mean that from the point of view of, I know it is, unfortunately, sadly, it is, but why is that the case?
Yep.
You should not be punished for having that. And then the same fucking people who turn around and say, you should be forced to have that kid, are the same people who are like, I don't want to pay for someone else's child care. I don't want to pay for someone else to get maternity leave. They don't even have to pay. I don't want to vote to make it so that corporations who make millions or billions of dollars or hundreds of billions of dollars are obligated to pay for that person's leave to go recover from having a child and raise the child. What? What happened to
what? What I mean? What are we doing?
Oh, what are we
doing?
What are we doing, man? That's yeah. I don't know.
Right, but like,
we're producing and consuming. That's what we're doing.
I know, it's fucking insane, and yeah, it goes back to what you were saying before. Like, the people at the very top and the people who work for them, like, they want to create desperate situations to keep us first, like, unable to organize properly, unable to know what we want and know what we want to do with our time, our actual only limited resource is time.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Exactly. And we act like, you're so right though. Like why are we not talking about why, it's interesting that, people can't have children, or they feel like it would be unresponsible of them to have a child, or traumatic, or whatever, because you think, this is my fucking talking point every single fucking time, but community, man, if we really had true community, everyone would be taking care of that baby. Everything would be fucking cool. It wouldn't be a problem. If you want to have the baby, you have the baby. If you don't, you still don't have to, but it would be way easier if you're like, oh yeah, this person takes care of it sometimes, and we all
I
that
do
would
agree.
be fucking dope. Everyone, and then there'd be a bunch of cool ass fucking kids.
Yeah, that's
that would grow up to be really fucking cool, well-rounded adults that aren't just oh yeah, you got to be afraid of your neighbors because you don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know, they might
100%. It's like,
well, maybe get to know them and then you'll know what they're gonna do.
Right. That's one of the viewpoints that I have that are I never really talk about this that much, but it's because I know I don't know anybody who would agree with me, and I'm not going to change their mind. They're going to call me insane and stuff. But it's I do believe, why not, so first and foremost, I believe that we should be looking at the world and saying, all right, rather than saying what's going to make money, we should look at it and say, what do we need? And
right,
part of that would include, naturally, it's not like this is an agenda where I'm ooh, I want this and this and this and this and this. It's just improve lives of people. Try to give people dignified lives or the opportunity to have them. Okay, what does that include? Okay, what do we need? One thing we need is to make sure that children have good opportunities. That involves making sure that they get, the proper nurturing care that they need to develop in a healthy way and have well-adjusted attitudes towards society and the world, or society, I mean more their community and the world. And it's what would have to happen for that to be the case? I believe that there should be a major emphasis on making sure children are taken care of and educated in a way that's not in the traditional sense that we like to look at education as. Oh, they need to learn that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's all right, yeah, sure, that's useful, I guess, if you really want to go into it. Sure, I mean, I have no problem with that. But it's at the same time, you can't just be oh, yeah, I taught that kid that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and then they went home and just I don't know, their parents are working and or whatever, the one parent isn't there and the other parent has to struggle to get by and all this stuff. It's at the very least, in that situation, wouldn't you just be like, okay, life is difficult for that parent. Let's make sure that they can have a good opportunity to live and raise their kid. It's like, who is really going to... On paper, people are going to look at that and be like, a lot of people do this, and they'll be like, it's not my responsibility. They should have made better choices. But it's like, really, though? If that person was standing face-to-face with you and you actually had to look them in the eye and you heard their story and you understood it the way that they understand it, or at least as close as you can to... at least get as close as you can to understanding it to the best ability that you have. It's like, you're not going to look them in the eye and be like, figure it out. I got shit to worry about, too. I got 2 cars I got to pay for. I'm leasing them.
That's the...
My wife wants to buy shit all the time, and I can't afford this shit, and I'm supposed to take care of you? Mm-hmm. It's like, grow up. Like, what are you doing? You're worried about your little toys over a fucking life when you claim you care so much about it. It's so insane, dude.
Yeah. It's so insane. And that's the thing, too. That's a perfect point. It's like, that's what I was saying before. Is like, people are so distracted with their stuff, and they don't have the emotional bandwidth to, like, help other people or to even listen to other people most of the time, because they're already so like emotionally overwhelmed from their fucking bullshit life that's like constantly dragging them down, that they're like, they probably deserve it.
Yeah.
They can't cope like I can cope.
Exactly. They're just doing the wrong thing. Figure it out. Grow up. Be a man. AKA do what I do and fucking come home and yell a little bit and get a little drunk and just eat a couple burgers and pass out and just, like, I'm not saying everybody does that, but like, it happens
a lot of
than
people.
You think. Yeah. And that's one thing I'm trying to not do as much is, I know I just did it, but I'm trying to avoid doing that where I'm like targeting the individual and be like, grow up, you fucking idiot. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, you're kind of a victim too. Do I feel so sympathetic
Big
for
time.
you? No, but oh shit, we got a little spam. How do I get that out of here?
Ooh, Spamby.
Get out of here, Judah 099. Buy
Block 'em.
followers Prime. How do I do that? How do you block somebody?
You click on their name and
Ban. Damn, we just banned someone for the first time.
hell yeah. Does it take the comment away?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of it. I'm just gonna hide it in OBS for now. Oops.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Don't fuck with us, Judah.
Yeah. All right, but anyway, yeah. I don't know. Are you down to take a quick break? It's been about an hour, and I have to.
Sure.
pee.
Yeah, we've been going for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds
All
good.
right. We will return very shortly. Stay tuned. All right. All right, and we are back.
We need to stop fetishizing wealth. We need to stop fetishizing wealth. We need to stop.
We do.
Everything will be better once we stop. That's what we always talk during the breaks for a little bit. That was the last thing we were talking about.
Yeah, we kind of said a lot of stuff that probably could have been on here, but
Yeah.
you know, whatever. Regardless, it's like, yeah, I mean, rather than looking at a situation and saying, man, why is it that wealth, and, you know, wealth, we talk about wealth, it almost feels stupid because we're talking about what's wealth in our, you know, we're lucky people, we're not, you know, you're living life and just doing your own thing, so you're kind of like, you know.
I'm practicing what I preach.
Right, you practice what you preach. Exactly. So, yeah, money is a thing that is necessary and whatever. It's like, I'm in a situation where it's like, you know, money doesn't really, for what I do in my life, doesn't really, it's not like I'm in any kind of danger or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, but regardless, what I mean is like, it feels weird to talk about wealth because the people that we know and the people that we are around and see out there in the places we live and stuff, wealth is like what? Like you're making $80,000 to $120,000 a year or something like that, you know, which is still, I mean, that's awesome in my opinion, but it's like, you know, living in expensive areas, you know, your place is a little bit more affordable, but like in New York or in Long Island and, you know, Queens and stuff like that where people that I know live, it's like, you know, that is kind of, you know, when rent is like almost $3,000 a month, you know what I mean? Like you kind of got to make a good amount of money, you know? But it's like, are we really talking about wealth? It's weird because I guess it does relate, but it's like, I don't have a problem with someone having, you know, $150K in their savings account. That's great, you know, good.
No, it's not about that. It's what I'm saying is fetishizing wealth.
Of course. I'm just kind of doing like a little disclaimer because I don't, whatever. I don't know why I'm even saying this. Yeah.
No, I mean,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm like,
money.
Go ahead.
If people make enough money to survive, then that's good. That's really good. It's great. Especially if they can survive and like have limited amounts of stress. But my thing is the balancing the stress and money thing well. Because I mean, I value very heavily not being stressed and, you know, having a lot of time to live my life. Right?
You would think that's the point.
Yeah. It's like I could definitely work way more and probably work, you know, a better job, get paid more. So that what? So I can have like a bigger apartment,
right? And
like a car.
You can work more and make more money so that you can
have like
spend more money on things.
Yeah, buy more clothing.
Right.
So that, you know, it's like, why would I do that when I can like have 4 days a week off and be able to write and stream and like go around and make friends in the neighborhood and like live.
Yeah, for sure. And
you know,
I don't know. People are oh God. It's such a bad situation when it's hard to convince people to care about their own interests. Like,
yes.
Because people are so disconnected from that a lot of the time that they believe that their interest is getting ahead in life. And if you're in a situation where getting ahead in life means getting out of poverty, increasing your, you know, living situation so that you can have a better life, cool, you know, for sure. But like, in my opinion, that shouldn't even be 100% on the person. You know what I mean? Like, if people are in positions where they're struggling to have a good quality of life, we live, you know, no joker, but we live in a society, believe it or not. And if we're choosing to do that, how is there not kind of at least some kind of like social contract where it's like, okay, I am in this society that I've been forced into. You don't get anything out of it. The only thing you get out of it is the right, not even the right. You get like if you're lucky, you can work for somebody else and make if you, once again, if you're lucky, enough money to like hopefully live sort of close to where you work. These days, you can't even really live where you work because, you know, you work in the city, in New York City, and make, you know, 50 grand a year. Where are you living? You know what I mean? You can't live there, you know? And I mean, unless you have like a bunch of roommates and stuff, but then you're even chastised by the world or by society to be like, when are you going to really like do something with your life? When are you going to finally figure it out? Like, come on. Like,
what does that even mean?
Right. No one says that to
You know,
me,
it's
but
like,
I'm saying, like, I
damn.
know people that deal with that. Like, it's like,
Well, yeah, it's the societal pressures of just like, I don't know. This goes back though to like my idea, or it's not my idea really, but like people like want everyone to like it's like the misery loves company thing, you know?
yeah.
So it's like, hey, I'm in debt, and I have a house that I'm trying to pay off, but I'll probably have to take out a second mortgage or whatever the fuck you have to do to like not lose your home, and like
Right.
you know, gas is so expensive. I have to drive every day, everywhere, all the time. You know, get in this boat with me. I know it's sinking, but like if you're not in the boat, then like you're not like you're not doing it right.
You're like my enemy, honestly,
You're
at
not
that
doing
point.
it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so you're telling me that you live with 4 of your friends in like whatever, an apartment in New York City, and like you're able to like work at a bar and like hang out and have fun all the time? Pff, fucking loser.
Yeah, right. Loser. Yeah, it's like, wait, but haven't you thought about like what you're gonna do in the future? It's like, no,
Future's
dude.
now, baby.
I've never thought about oh my God, you're so much smarter than me. You've thought about the future? Oh my God, I never thought about that in my entire life before. Oh my God, I must be just a moron. You're right, I'm a moron. You know, it's like, no.
Yeah.
Some people just don't, like, your future doesn't have to be, I'm gonna get the car with the better logo on it in plastic.
Yeah.
Fucking nailed in, fucking screwed into the front of my car that's not even mine, but I feel cool because like I'm in it. I'm wasting money on this. Doesn't that say that I'm such a successful human being that I'm willing to waste my money on this? That makes me smart, right?
Yeah.
It's like, why don't you just not? You know, you could just not. And God.
Yeah, people need to like. This is the thing, like, and this is part of like me arriving at these perspectives, or the way that I see and talk about life and what the importance of life truly is, comes from a place of like childhood resentment, basically, like being told you're supposed to do so much stuff and not actually seeing any meaning in doing those things.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm not gonna do that stuff, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you start realizing how much stuff you don't have to do.
Yeah.
That everyone tells you got it, you got. It's like, no, you don't.
Right.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't have to do a lot of stuff that people are telling you have to do.
Yep.
But don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having to do some stuff. You know, everyone has responsibilities and they have to maintain their life. But like, really consider the stuff that you're doing and whether or not you have to do it or you want to do it.
Right. It's like the way I would, if I had to boil it down simply in my vision of the world, it'd be like, you got to do stuff, but you don't just got to do the stuff that people say you got to do, or, you know, like to an extent, you know, it's like, yeah, I understand that society would collapse if no one wanted to farm or, you know, ship stuff and, you know, work the, you know, fix the roads and maintain the railways. Like, yeah, that would suck. But people want to do that. Like, literally, like, kids, even little kids, like, the purest form of, like, intrigue, I guess, I don't know, or creativity, like, imagination, I guess, is, like, a lot of kids will naturally love the idea of, like, trucks or trains or cars or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? Or just like being like doing construction or like building or whatever, you know? It's a natural thing that we like.
Absolutely.
The problem is, if you do that, at least in our generation, that type of stuff is oftentimes viewed as like, yeah, but you don't want to have to do that. You want to get a real job, like being an accountant.
You want to sit in an office.
Yeah,
with
you want to
AC,
sit exactly. You don't want to have to be out
But,
there
like-
working like that. You want to be able to just do something nice and use your mind. Like whatever, sending emails to people.
Responding to emails that literally come with a template that you send to
Exactly.
everybody.
Exactly.
But like the thing too is like, and this is my whole like kind of like deconstructive argument against society. Really is like, people want to do stuff, right?
Mhm.
And I think that if you take it, and this argument that like people need a monetary incentive to do stuff is insane, right? But a big thing is like, like when we talk about like a true communist society, right?
Yeah.
People are like, everyone's just going to laze about.
People
right?
say that. Yeah.
Yeah, because what people want to do now is laze about because they're spending so much time having to do stuff that they hate that they have no energy to do stuff that they like.
Hell yeah.
Right? So, dude, trust me, I've lazed about. A lot of us have lazed about for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I very quickly learned that I want to be doing stuff all the time.
Right. I think most people felt that way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you don't have to go to your job, you're like, what can I do?
Yeah.
I want to do stuff. We
Right.
started the podcast.
Yeah.
It's like we got to the point where it's like we need to do things.
Right.
There's so much stuff. It's like, most of the time too. It's like I would, if I didn't have to worry about rent, period, or like healthcare and all that kinds of all the necessary parts of being a human being, I would do this forever for free. I would play music for free. I would give away paintings. I would do all the stuff. And I'm sure that there are architects out there who would be like, let me build a building, please.
Yes. Dude, okay.
it's like-
You want to know what's funny? Like, to be honest, I mean, this is something, I don't know if this comes across as like more like sort of obvious, but to me it feels sort of obvious. Like, I don't know if we've ever really talked about this in this way before, but like, me and you, we agree on so many things, and we both see a vision of the world and the way that it can be, and a way that, and I think we both feel that way of that possibility is a lot better than what we live in now. Yet, you describe like, doing this show, doing art, visual art, music, creative things like that, which you do regardless. You know what I mean? It's something that like nothing tells you to do it, yet you do it anyway because it comes from within. You know what I mean? And we're literally talking about how people would have to keep the wheels turning and make sure things keep going along. My interests, when I don't feel pressure to deliver something or whatever, my interests are different than yours a lot of the time. There's a lot of overlap, but like I do think I am more inclined towards little more less creative stuff. I mean, I do that too, I guess, but like I am super interested in like kind of like, I mean, I'm kind of cringing at myself because I don't have a degree in like, I don't have like a doctorate, a PhD in like any kind of scientific field.
We're not talking about this.
But like, I love like scientific things and like just understanding like sort of more technical things. And I know you're good at that stuff too, but I just mean like, yeah, I don't know why I'm being so self-conscious right now. Basically what I'm saying is you sit down in your free time and you create art, you write poetry, you paint, you record music more than I do. And I never paint or write poetry really. Like I never do it anymore at all. I've barely done it in my life. But like as far as music, I'll do that sometimes. But you do that a lot more. It's something within you that just makes you want to do it. With me, a lot of the time in my free time, I find myself like learning about science and stuff like that, or learning about technology and computers and stuff like that. And to be honest, even like with that's a marketable thing, right? Like that's what we're encouraged to do, right? That's supposed to be good. In theory, we're not actually encouraged to do that because it feels like I'm wasting my time every time I do that. It doesn't actually. It feels very fulfilling to me personally, but I know, like, what am I doing? Like, after a while, I'm like, ugh, I gotta go do something that actually, like, I gotta do the stuff I gotta do. And it, like, takes me away from something I'm genuinely passionate about, and moves me towards something that's marketable, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
a marketable job skill, which, yeah, sort of relates, but, like, it's like, I don't care that much about, like, whatever, organizing a switchboard where it has, like, labels on the fucking Ethernet cables that make it be able to be easily adjusted so that the fucking person who works in payroll can easily switch their computer if there's a problem. Like, I don't care about that. But I love the idea of how, like, physics allows for matter to conduct electrons and store them and be able to be retrieved and to create circuits that loop back to create memory and using literal physical matter to create logical, predictable outcomes through, like, circuitry. Like, that, I would love to, like, get into that and really dive into that. I could do that all the time. But I don't have 4 years to go to school for electrical engineering or whatever, or computer science. Like, I just don't. It's money, it's time, it's lack of income during the times where I'm spending money doing that. It's no guarantee that it's actually going to pay off for anything useful. There's so much risk involved. There's so much stress. There's the lack of healthcare involved. Like, it's just, that is what stops you from doing things, like.
Yeah. Now imagine if we didn't live in a capital society and, there was just people doing lectures at the, place on the block where, like, that they have, like, a group where they hang out and they talk about electrical engineering and,
right.
And then you go there and you learn how to do it, and then you just are able to do it now. And then you do it.
And you want to know what's really fucked up? There is open courseware through MIT. I mean, that's just the one that I know about. Like, there's a lot of this stuff. There's free lectures and full. You can essentially get an MIT electrical engineering or computer science education online for free. You can experience,
without getting the piece of paper at the end.
Right. You experience exactly what the graduates experience, except you have nothing to show for it. Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, maybe a company would be able to look at your practical, like, ability to show your knowledge, but you're still, like, what are you going to do? I mean, it's supposed to take 4 years of extreme dedication in order to get that degree, with, like, advisors and a student, like, experience where, like, that's your life, ideally, But what? And I'm supposed to sit here for 4 years and sit on my computer and learn this shit on my own, and there's a 100% chance that on my resume, if I fucking write MIT Open Courseware, like, enjoyer, they're gonna be like, okay, this guy's a fucking moron. Like, you have no. I mean, I've graduated college and stuff, but it was not for anything really useful. It's like, I mean, it's for psychology, but Which, I mean, even that's that, I am interested in that. I care about that. We talk about, basically, a lot of the things that we talk about, I look at it through, like, a psychological lens. I feel like you even look at it through that lens more than I do, And it's like, I care about that and I like it, but it's like, what am I going to do? What job? That's what it is. I mean, even throughout my schooling, I majored in psychology because, like, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I was like, this sounds interesting to me and I really do care about this. I like it. I want to know more about it. And literally within, like, the first week, they were like, hey guys, if you're majoring in this and if you're not planning on pursuing a PhD or a medical, and becoming a psychiatrist through an MD program, like, I'm just letting you know, like, there's not a lot of careers out there. It's like, bro, I was 18. I was 17 when I chose that, Like, I was 18 when they told me that. I'm like, what do I do, bro? Like, and then, I mean, weirdly enough, when I was 19, a year later, I was like, I want to change my major to computer science, and I was told, Oh, come on. That's not like a good job. Like, what are you gonna? You're gonna be working for some company. Like, you're gonna get laid off and stuff. You're not really gonna be able to make any money. It's like,
What the fuck?
dude, that's probably the biggest career-wise. That's the biggest regret I've ever had in my entire life. Like, if I just would have done that,
Yeah.
I would have been. Well, but what would I have been? I would have been probably burnt out by now and stuff. You know what I mean? Like doing shit I don't care about. But maybe I'm just being cynical. I don't know. It's just weird how we don't. If someone says, I really care about this thing, how are we not trying to encourage that person to do what they care about? Because people care about different stuff.
Yeah.
I talked about this stuff about the circuitry and stuff like that and the logical, loop that creates memory and things like that. It's like, and a lot of the times people are like, well, some people that I know who are close to me are just kind of like, I mean, I'm glad you care about that. That sounds awesome. But like, to me, this is just like boring, And I'm like, I respect that. It's cool. Like, not in those harsh of words, but like kind of the meaning is behind it, And it's like, I don't know. It's like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just a personal conversation. But it's like, my point for bringing that up, like, is that not everybody wants to do that. I want to do that. I like that. A lot of the things that people tell me that they care about, I'm like, that sounds like hell to me, but I'm glad people like you exist, Like, that's human nature, It's not this cutthroat competitive thing where we want to stomp each other into the ground so that we can claw our way to the top.
I know, right? Jesus Christ. It's and that's the problem, man. Like, it goes back to what I was saying before too. It's the misery loves company, and you have to do what I do. You have to do what I do, because it's like, people are just that fucking dense,
Yeah. It's like, wait, I know what to do, so you're not doing the thing. Didn't you get the memo? Like, this is what you do. You get the best job for the most money, and you do that. Even, like, it's so weird. Like, all right, I'm kind of going into, like, personal territory right now. It's like, no, not that, whatever. This is kind of, like, anecdotal territory, I should say. It's like, even, like, as a kid, I don't know, my whole life, even when I see, like, athletes or whatever, like, people who just work in general, in my past jobs and stuff like that even. People get promotions in jobs. People get transfers approved. People get, lateral transfers where it's a little bit of an easier job, but you're not with the people you really care about that you've generated a relationship with over the past 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You're willing to leave that life behind in a heartbeat for like a 10 grand pay raise or like just like, and I say about athletes, I'm not concerned about their well-being, but I'm just saying it's the attitude of like, picture a kid from New York growing up loving the Mets, right? And you finally are on the New York Mets. And then you get a fucking your contract's up and someone offers you more money to play in, like, I don't know, who's a bad team. I don't know enough about baseball, whatever. You have to go move down to fucking Arizona to play. And it's like, you're really willing to sell your, like, not sell your soul, but like, you'll uproot your life and do that just for like increased money, even though, like, what happened to, like, what about you? You know what I mean? And like, I'm just using that as like a example to relate to regular people. Like, but most people would be willing to do that. Like, we have the same attitude. Like, for I can't say everybody. I mean, but in my experience, a lot of people are like that. Where who's turning down a promotion? If it's like, I'm going to promote you, but you have to move to the second floor, and you're going to be working with a different group of people, and you're a young guy, and you work with people that are around your age. You guys hang out outside of work, and you get offered a promotion, but now you're going to be pretty much working with like 60-year-old men and women, and you're just like, just kind of going to be going through the motions, and it's easier, and you get paid a little more, but like, you don't get as much freedom, and you don't get to have fun. I've seen that happen a million times where people just take it in a heartbeat. And honestly, every single time, the people are like, bro, like, I miss the good old days, man. Like, this sucks, kind of. Like, not every time, but
It is
like,
that way.
there's an element of that every time, Like,
you just gotta grow up. You just gotta grow up. You can't just be having fun all the time. You
I
gotta be
know.
miserable.
Right,
You
yeah,
need to be miserable.
I love that. It's so simple when you put it that way. It's like, grow up means learn how to hate your life and be happy. Be okay with it, I guess.
Deal with it.
Yeah, deal with it, yeah.
And it's funny, too, because, I mean, I've worked, like, in New York, I worked a job that paid me very well, or decently well, to be able to afford an apartment by myself in New York and stuff. But it was the most miserable, draining, I'll say.
Yeah, I bet.
Draining job. And then it's like, it's so important. I've learned this recently because my new job now is like very new to me. It's I think I talked about it on here already, but like cooking and stuff. And I work with young people, and it's fun, and everyone, it's just like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like that's just so much more what it's about than just like, how much money can I make? It's like, how excited am I to go to work in the morning? Because nowadays I wake up and I'm like, oh, I have work today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Not like, oh my fucking God, I want to be dead. I want to be dead.
Yep.
That's how badly I don't want to go to work.
And personally, I've experienced that as well. And I've had the experience of absolutely dreading work to the point of like, I was describing earlier how like we experienced that type of thing where it's like you want to just stay up a little bit later, watch one more episode, scroll through another video, whatever, go down on Reddit a little more, whatever. It's like
the pain.
Yeah, just to avoid the inevitable. But I've gone through that. I've gone through not even that. Just I didn't even have the energy to do that. I just literally would get home, jump in the shower, throw on a pair of shorts, and just get in bed. It was still light out. Like, just didn't give a fuck. I was just like, I hate my life. But I have to be up at 5 tomorrow, so fuck it. And it's like, I've done that. And I've had it where I was like, it's going to be a breeze. No problem. I got this. Like, I felt okay with going to work and stuff like that because I got into the situation that I wanted to be in. And I enjoyed that a lot. And actually, weirdly enough, I didn't even really make this connection, but it's like I literally left that situation for something that was supposed to give me more money and stuff like that eventually. Yeah. And I regretted. It was a bad experience, a very, very bad experience. The only reason I can say I don't regret it is because I learned a lot from it, but it was not. It's just I can still obviously look at it as like, damn, it's not about that, man. Like I was in a situation where like I used to complain about my job because I said my way of complaining about my job was I need a real job. This isn't real work. I'm not really working or doing anything. I'm just kind of like hanging out with my friends and like doing stuff. Like, I don't know. It's like not really a real fulfilling job. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I wanted to stay there forever, but I could have worked my way into something where I was both being fulfilled professionally, I guess you could say, and socially. But instead, I left behind the social aspect for a professional aspect, and it was just the worst choice. Like, it just wasn't right for me, but it was like, I'm an idiot if I don't do this because I'll get more money. So why don't I do it? Like, and it just turned out to be not worth it at all. And like, yeah, I feel like that's not uncommon, like obviously.
I know it's extremely common, and then but even just that framing, that way of looking at it, like a real job, real job. It's just like,
right. I laugh at myself for having said that because
No, I totally get
Yeah.
I get it.
It's just
But
like that's what we're told to think. And I always felt like it was wrong. Like I didn't grow up feeling like, yes, I need to make money, I need to do this. I grew up feeling like, is there something wrong with me? Like, why don't I care about this the same way that some people seem to, you know? Like, and so I was like, I need to fix myself and learn how to grow up and be an adult and really be a real man and, you know, learn how to, you know, just stop being such a baby and just, you know, grind it out. And it's like, no, like, my quality of life just went down the drain after that. And just, like I said, it was a learning experience, so I guess I don't regret it because I wouldn't have had the perspective that I do, I guess, which I feel is important. Yeah. But, like, I mean, why can't you make mistakes, learn from them, and then be like, okay, cool. Why can't you do that? It's like now I'm in a situation where it's like, fuck, I need to, like, gain marketable skills so that I can sell my labor to somebody else for a reasonable amount of compensation. Well, reasonable, you know, amount of compensation.
Just get a job in a restaurant. It's fun.
Yeah, you could do that. But, I mean, to be honest, you're more, you've broken free from it a billion times more than I have. So, like, I'm a hypocrite with this stuff a lot of the time.
Fair.
Like, you practice, you walk the walk, you know what I mean? It's like, I still have this thing where I'm like, well, but then again, I mean, the things that I do find to be interesting, I'm like, I think I can, well, to be fair, okay, let me put it this way. Like we said before, people want to do stuff, and I want to do stuff, and I want to do the things that I am focused on now. The problem is, I want to do them through a, like, learning way where I can gain knowledge and, like, see what I want to do with that knowledge. Not just be like, this is my job now. Yeah, the management is pretty lax, you know, that's pretty good, I guess. I mean, there's a 401k plan, you know, pretty good. I mean, you know, you get health insurance. Like, that's the concerns. And you're forced to think that because without it, what do? You know?
Well, I mean, that's a way of, like, rationalizing your misery in a lot of ways, though.
Right. At least I'm allowed to go to the doctor if I'm dying.
Yeah. And I can retire. Oh, I'm gonna retire.
Yeah.
God, I want to see the numbers of how long people live after retirement.
Dude,
generally.
It's so pathetic. I mean, not pathetic. I mean, it's not their fault. It's so sad. Yeah, let's look it up.
Bring it up. Yeah, I'm gonna get some more ginger beer.
Okay, sure. All right, average life expectancy after retirement, U.S. Let's see. Oh my lord. Okay, so we're working with a 65-year-old can expect to live another 19 to 21.5 years on average. Okay. A third will hit 90, which is, what is that? 25 years? Like, okay.
Are the numbers better than what were expected or worse?
It's about what I expected. I mean, because I know the life expectancy is like, what, 70-something, I guess? But, well, that's higher than I expected. Yeah, so how does that make sense? If the average life expectancy... Oh, okay, because of early mortality, right? Like, they factor in...
How living longer will impact your retirement.
Dude. Oh, you know what's funny, actually? The, when I was in school, I've gone to college more than once, you know? I went to nursing school for a little while, so it's like, which you know, but, you know, for the audience, you know? During that period, one of the classes that I had to take before that was, what was it? It was like, oh, I forget what the class was called, but it was basically about, like, the goal of the class was to teach you about, like, what it's like for people who are elderly, and, like, it was a sociology type class. It was, like, to understand
Okay.
what it's like when you're dealing with people who are from different generations, which I think that's a cool class to take for that type of field, you know. And it was just so sad because a lot of the material that we learned about and like the hands-on stuff that we had to do was related to learning about and experiencing, or kind of learning about the experiences of people who were like, you know, in the situation where it's like, yeah, I grew up in Brooklyn and I worked my husband was he was a mail carrier or something. Or no, he worked at like the post office and he did like, he worked in the mail room sorting mail and stuff. And we raised our kids, and I was a stay-at-home mom, but then I got a job once bills got tight, and I was doing this and that, whatever, just generally. And it's like the just the idea, like the whole idea, and this was a person telling the story, and it was like, yeah, just like their kids got focused on their own careers and stuff like that. Actually, the story was from the point of view of the daughter, who at the point of telling the story was in their 40s. And the parents at that point were in their late 70s, I think. And, I don't know. It's just, this is anecdotal, obviously, but I'm just saying, it's like, just insane that situation exists. Like, you live in Brooklyn your life. You work there, you're part of the community. You know the people in your apartment building. You live there, right? You're a part of that community for sure. You get older, you have your kids. The kids need to, what's rammed down our throat? Get a job. Go to college, get a job, work, make money, save for retirement, get that 401k, get some assets if you can. You got to just do whatever you can to like secure your future. But like, that previous generation that was like expecting like, which back in the day there was unionization and stuff like that, and people got pensions and stuff, for a brief period in American history. And like, they kind of were like expecting to be able to live off their Social Security and their like savings, and like it just gets wiped out. And now you're on what, like 20 grand of Social Security a year or something like that, and you're elderly, and now you need medicine, and you need. And yeah, sure, there's Medicare and stuff like that, but like, not everybody's in network or whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, I don't know. But like, it's like, there are so many obstacles facing you, and you raise your kids to do the right thing and make money and be successful, right? And now those kids are focused on their own lives, and here you are being like 70-something years old, and you're rotting away in your fucking apartment, unable to really take care of yourself, trying to change a light bulb, and you can't even get up on the chair to do it, and it's a risk, and if you fall, you're probably going to die, maybe. Like, I don't know, it's just a sad existence. Like, when that's, like, I know it sounds cliche, but like, we literally are just born, we work ourselves to death, and then we wait to die. And why? Is it because we can look around with pride and say, I did my part. I took care of humanity, and people are better for it? No. We look around and we say, oh, that fucking scumbag bought another boat. Oh, that piece of shit is now like, vacationing in fucking Costa Rica while they're saying, I'm sorry, but we can only do a $1 raise this year. Like,
Yeah.
how is that okay?
It's like the double-edged sword of like American individualism type of shit. Where it's like, we've really, 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 really lost sight of what actual community means, and like what it even means to like be a part of something, and not just like, I gotta look out for me, and like my immediate family, and maybe not even them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I gotta look out for, like, yeah, exactly. Right. It's like, I gotta look out for me, and like, yeah, of course I'll take care of the people around me, right? Who gave me this, like, I'll pay them back for their dedication or whatever, but it's like, you can't, kind of, 90% of the time. Like, I don't know. It's just
Well, we're so fucking zapped of energy, man.
yeah, right, exactly. Like
Generally,
right. Not to mention
like
with stuff like that.
the yeah, like
Sorry.
the child moves out and has their own family,
Right.
and now they have no energy to like deal with the parents or with grandparents or whatever, and then then you're left with like, it's just so stupid. And then for what? For what?
Right. So that you
You
can
know?
have
Ugh.
the logo on the car, the plastic logo.
Exactly.
And you can have you could say, yeah, it's a 4-bedroom,
Yeah.
It's a 4-bedroom.
Yeah.
So some fucking other
I'm gonna set
little
up a sewing room
drone
eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Some other little drone can look at you and say, "Oh yeah? That's great. You know what? That's great." And that's it. And that's what we do.
And the thing is, everybody fucking hates each other too. Like when it comes to stuff like that, I just
Right.
thought of that. Like really, like nobody likes people like that, and everybody's also like that.
Yeah, right? What the fuck? Like,
God, I
yeah.
hate that shit. Man.
Everyone's like, okay, look, if you make $80K a year and you're talking to somebody who makes $40K a year, you look at them and you're like, listen, I mean, I don't know. They got to figure this thing out. I mean, I don't know how they're getting by, but, it's unbelievable. Whereas the 40K person is looking at the 80K person being like, I guess they're happy with what they're doing, They don't, And then the person who makes like 140K a year is looking at the 80K person being like, I hope they're all right, they're modest people, I respect that, And then the person who makes fucking $1 million is like, well, they don't even acknowledge the 120 person, 140, whatever I said.
They're not even thinking about it.
Yeah. It's just
But
so
the fucking thing is,
like, who cares?
I was talking to this dude at
yeah, sorry. I was about to go on a rant, but I don't want to. So yeah, go ahead.
I was talking to this dude at the bar the other night, and he was telling me about how he recently went through a divorce and like lost like the house and a bunch of money, and like he like I think he like his business went under. He was like supposedly he was like rich.
Right.
And now he's like started a new business, and he's like, I'm making so much less money. And I'm like, let me guess, you're way happier now? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about the poor choices you were making before, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
it's like, it's like, and it's kind of like everybody fucking knows this though, too. It's
Yes.
like everybody knows it deep down in their heart that like, they're competing with other people for no reason. And they're just like stuck in the loop of competing with them.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm crazy, I think.
Yeah.
But I need to get a pool because they have a pool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna not have a pool.
Absolutely.
And then they get the pool, and then they're annoyed about the pool because the kids don't even really go in it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
They gotta fucking clean that shit out.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But they have the pool. And
Right.
they can post pictures of it. Nowadays, you can post pictures of it online.
Dude, I love the pool thing. I love that pool argument. It's like, the pool is a great example of this. It's like, I need the pool. Well, sorry. Okay. It's like, either it's, I need the pool, or it's someone else is telling me that I need to get the pool. Whether that be your spouse or your kids or something, it's like, I need the pool. Or if it's your own self saying it because, like you said, the neighbor had the pool, it's like, I need the pool. You get the pool. Now you got to deal with the pool. Do you really want the pool? Did you think about whether or not you wanted the pool? Because guess what? You got to take care of that pool. It's not just you jump in the pool and have a good time. It's like, I now have a pool and this is a part of my life, and I have to care for this thing like a pet almost for,
And now
3
I'm
months
on
out of
the weekends as well as the week.
Right. Now on the weekends, instead of being able to say, fuck, finally I'm no longer enslaved for a couple days.
I gotta go fucking
fucking be enslaved by the pool. I mean, dude, this is going to be so cringe, but last night, I've told you this, I watched Fight Club last night for the first time in like probably honestly like 10 years, and it's so true. The things you own end up owning you. And it's the most true thing in the world,
dude.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's I I love and respect novelty. I think having some things is good, but really, the important thing is to. What happened?
Oh, we got some YouTube chat going on right now.
Oh,
Who's this guy? It's Robert F. Robert F. Okay, we got, you know who it is, Eric. We got the comments such as, greed is good. I like the logos on the car. You just got to get a pool guy to take care of the pool. Okay, that's one line of thinking. That's one way of thinking about it.
Fair enough. Hell yeah.
But just like Jamie from Mythbusters said, I reject your reality and substitute my own. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But I believe that is the true reality.
That's
but,
awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you for thanks for hopping in and talking though. That's awesome. Yeah. Anyway,
we gotta get the YouTube.
I know.
Chat on
I don't
stream
know.
as well.
Yeah.
We'll do that next time.
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to actually do it because like through Twitch you use a pop out thing and stuff like that. So
this one pops out as well.
Oh, it does.
The YouTube.
All right. Well, I have to create a new window. Actually, let me see.
Maybe we could do it for the next
right
stream.
now. Yeah. Pop out chat.
Okay.
Oh, it did work. You know what? Let me see.
That's so funny.
Window capture. Okay, what about this? Oh, it's not the same though, because it's not like transparent and stuff. You know what I mean?
Do you know how to do it again?
I don't. But actually that doesn't look that bad. Right?
I haven't seen it yet.
Look at the stream.
I'm looking at it.
It should come up any moment. Yeah, it's up now. You don't see the...
Oh! You know what? Yeah. I have the YouTube stream up, and it's.
Oh, it's back.
Back. It was back. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. Why not? All right, we can work on that to make it look a little smoother. But yeah, thank you for being featured. We'll have oh wait, your full name is on Twitch. Here. Are you like uncomfortable with that? I'll change it if you want. Wait, what? Hold up. I feel like I'm missing something right now. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I just messed it up. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, sweet. All right. Cool.
Yeah, one day we'll have the Twitch and the YouTube stream, and they'll just be scrolling.
Yeah, just people ripping comments.
Fucking blasting in there.
Yeah, being like, yeah, the proletariat must rise up against the bourgeois capitalists.
Oh, and then hopefully there'll be some people.
And then Rob will be like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, let's go." No,
yeah.
I denounced the proletariat of the workers because I denounced the dictatorship of the proletariat because I substitute a hierarchy-free state where small community action works in syndicalist ways to influence global policy. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna be Rob. I know it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? If you keep
pools,
at it, maybe?
Guys.
Okay, cool. So we'll just keep streaming and then he'll definitely get there.
Hell yeah.
He admits it, yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It's so funny. I love that.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. But anyway. Yeah, I can't even remember what we were talking about at that point, you know.
We were on to pools, which was very fun.
Oh yeah, pool talk.
Because then you have to deal with the pool.
Yeah, you got to deal with the pool. And I mean, right, Rob? I mean, how much do you enjoy cleaning that pool? You know? Well, he's going to disagree with everything I say, so he's going to be like,
it's funny.
yeah, I don't know. No, yeah, whatever. It's all good. That's why we love him. So
Indeed.
But yeah, it's just, you know, you get the pool.
Wait, you were saying you were...
No, go ahead. No, you.
You were saying you were saying that you were watching Fight Club, and that's where we left off.
Oh well,
your
no.
stuff
All I
ends up
said
owning
is
you.
that yeah, the things you own end up owning you, and that's true. I mean, okay, I'll just use personal examples. My car, I mean, it's a 2011 Honda Civic, and the paint is defective and it's peeling off, and there's bird poop all over it, and it's like I feel free owning that car, like, because it's just like I need to travel. I enter it and I travel. Imagine if I had to think about like, oh my god, like I gotta turn in the lease in like a year and a half, and like I gotta worry about like the fact that like there might be like a little stain on the passenger seat because like my ex-girlfriend spilled makeup on it, which totally didn't happen to me, by the way. Just kidding, it did. But like, yeah, it's like, yeah, that's totally not a real story. But like, yeah,
Just some random example.
yeah, like, imagine having to worry about that. Like, just being like, fuck, like, my life is now, this moment in my life is now consumed by the fact that the makeup is on the seat. And this is a big deal to me now. I gotta work this out. I gotta spend money on fixing this. This is now a big priority of mine. Or you could just be like, yeah, I just don't care. You know, like,
yeah. Well, I mean, it goes to like we've talked about this before too, but like guitars and stuff.
oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and if you know if you can't afford a nice guitar, but you buy the nice guitar, you're probably never even going to play it. You're definitely not going to bring it to a show. And if you do, you're going to be stressed the whole time about something happening to it, or you know, then you just like consume so much of your mind that you're like, now you're just worried about something all the time.
100%.
What if,
And it
well,
can be
and
learned
if you-
behavior to opt yourself out of that. Because
yeah,
personally, I don't know. I just like, well, this isn't even learned. It's kind of like just, I felt from day one pretty much like, as far as a guitar, and this is kind of consumerism as well. It's like I'm relating a material object to myself and my personality in a way when I do this, but it's like it feels different when it's something that you use to express yourself. You know what I mean? It's not just like a status symbol, it's like a tool. You know what I mean? So like with a guitar, it like for me personally, it feels like that thing can, you know, I mean, you're using it to tell a story, to tell many stories, right? And the physical appearance of it can also tell a story based off like your experiences with it, and that, what does that result in? Are you going to tell the story of, yeah, I kept it squeaky clean and I kept it in a case the whole time and I made sure that like I got the little scuffs repaired or buffed out or whatever the fuck? It's like, no. It's like it's got some wear and tear on it because we used it, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I like that concept. I don't like the concept of like, I own this item, therefore I must keep it immaculate to maintain its value.
Oh god,
and like,
yeah.
no.
Well, it's like even with like it's a big thing with shoes,
Yeah.
and it's like shoes are literally made to walk on the ground.
Right.
Why are you cleaning them so frequently? They don't have to be like that.
I
I
do
always
agree.
remember like my mom being like, "Your shoes are so dirty." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
They're for outside.
Right.
They're for outside.
Right. I know we've talked about like the consumerism of like the skateboarding community through like brand deals, and like pretty much it's all brand deals. And it's like, but at the same time, like we've also actually, I think, talked about how it's like there's a aspect of like a reflection on your experience through it. And I know it's kind of like cringy maybe, but because we're talking about like skateboarding being like whatever, but it's like there's a different, like buying that product, your shoes when you skate, is not like, yo, well, there's an aspect of it where it's like, yo, this is cool because it has the logo on it. It felt that way at the time when I was like, you know, a teenager and stuff, and like, you know, younger and stuff. But like, there's still something valuable you can get out of that item, minus that first thing that I said, which is like the brand loyalty aspect of it. You know what I mean? If you just look at it from the point of view of like, I like the fact that these are durable and they have like, you've been through something with them. They're ripped up. Like, we've talked about it. It's like, you kind of feel good when the toe gets ripped and the ollie spot gets ripped. And when the heel gets ripped, you're like, I'm kind of balancing out my trick regimen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing tricks. You know what I mean? I'm using heel. I'm using kickflip tricks. I'm doing, 180s and, various, like, ollie tricks. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, we're doing things. But yeah, hold on. Let me take a moment to reflect upon our glorious viewers' commentary right here. We're working with...
This is the thing. And I know what you mean. And I think the biggest issue that I have with it, and it's just like, it's the people who aren't aware of what they're doing when they're doing it. People who are just going with it because they're like, oh, you're supposed to have this kind of thing. I want to like it's more about the mindless fitting in that's I have a problem with, and I wish that people would like just kind of watch themselves and know what they're doing and why they're doing it more so than like not do it at all. Because I think novelty and like like having meaning in like the things that you buy is awesome, and even going back to skateboarding brands and stuff like that, it's like, buying like a Zero t-shirt meant something more than just like, I like people who wear Zero t-shirts. It's like, it was a whole like little community thing, and same with cars. There's a huge community around cars, and that's perfectly fine. That's cool and good. But like, the types of people who are like, I've heard that, this is the one you're supposed to get now.
Right. I love the way you put that. Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. It's the mindlessly consuming thing. It's not just simply consuming.
Yeah, and actually that makes me kind of... I'm so glad that moment just happened, because I've had this conversation with Rob a few times, and I definitely didn't put it the way that you just did, but that's pretty much that's a great distinction that I feel like is important to make. Like, if someone is like you, like Rob, if you're like, that car is something that I can use to have fun and enjoy myself with, and, put my own personal touch on through modifications or, aesthetic upgrades or, modifications or whatever, it's like, cool, like, nice. And actually, I mean, that is what you do, like, from what I've seen. And it's like, but I just think that consuming that product for the sake of owning it and feeling like a sense of like a status increase based off your ownership of that good is like nonsense to me. But, if it's a hobby and a choice, and I'm not making a judgment like that's bad, you should never do that. It's just more like, even if you are just consuming it for the joy that you get of owning the item, it's like, I have just skepticism about whether or not that is really doing what you want it to do. Like, and I don't mean you you specifically, like, especially if it's something that you say, like, I mean, I don't know if you're trolling or not, but I believe you when you say, like, I use my car to express myself. I like cars. I can totally understand that. Like, the difference is, for me, like, there has been a time in my life where I wanted to express myself through a car. I remember when I was, like, 24 years old, and I had a job, and I started making some money. Not amazing, but, like, I had some money to throw around. I was like, how much would it cost to buy, like, a 1987 BMW and just, like, make it work like a pretty good car, like a reasonable, like, daily driver type car? And would that be feasible and stuff like that? How much would this cost me? Just because I thought it would feel good to, like, almost like how we talk, me and Eric talk about, like, clothing as, like, yeah, it's a consumer good at the end of the day, but it's also expressive in the same way, and there's an artistic element to it for sure. And it's like, I think it ties into that. You know what I mean? Like, would you agree with me, Eric? Like, I don't know. Like,
definitely.
Like, so if that's the outlook, then yeah, I respect that 100%, and I respect it regardless. I'm not going to say you're an idiot for whatever you're doing with a car or whatever, but I do think it's like worth thinking about if someone is just like, oh, well, I make this much money, I can afford this car, I need that car because I don't want to be fucking rolling around in a goddamn Toyota when I could be driving a whatever, Mercedes. It's like, why do you care about that? You know what I mean? If you're just the dude working in an office, crunching numbers and typing in fucking data, what are you getting out of that? You just feel good when you drive to the goddamn train station in your fucking Mercedes because it has a better logo on it? Like, and the individual, I don't think, is the person to blame. I say this stuff, but earlier in the thing I said, like, I'm trying not to do that as much. I know in my words I blame the individual, but I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying, like, it's just a harsh, not as thoughtful as it can be way of me saying that, like, maybe you should take a look and think about what you really care about and be skeptical of the system that makes it so that you feel like this is important to you. You know, that's it.
That's a big thing. Yeah. The cultural aspects of wealth and stuff. But really, my whole thing with it generally is like, you know, a car is just a car, clothing is just clothing and stuff. And we put the meaning onto these things, and it's like, for what, you know? So that's really what it kind of depends on, you know.
Of course. And yeah, that was maybe a little bit of an overly wordy description of like the distinction, but like at the end of the day, yeah, I agree. Like, owning an item for the sake of owning it and the goal is the prestige of the ownership is meaningless. I just don't get how that can mean anything. And I get I shouldn't even say that. What I mean is, after thinking about it for a long time, I feel like that meaning is, it can't be fulfilling to a person in a real way.
But and it's also like the people going back to like the supposed to kind of thing, you know. It's like, oh, you know you're supposed to like dress like this if you're a middle class white woman. You know, or like you're not allowed to like you're not allowed to really express yourself in your clothing anymore after you pass the age of 35 or 40 or whatever it is. You know, now you gotta shop at you know, whatever fucking store, and you gotta, you know, keep up with the norm, and like you gotta, like, you want to drive a nice car, but you don't want it to be like too flashy because you're not one of those types of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Like all this stupid like cultural implications that like affect people's day-to-day choices and like what they consume and why, and they like put themselves into the box and they're like, this is who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Box.
Right.
And I have to do the stuff that other people in this box do. Otherwise I'm you know, someone's going to make fun of me.
Exactly. Like, yeah, dude, you're so good at describing this stuff. Like exactly. Like the feeling that, okay, it's not even a feeling. It's like I don't know how to describe it. Like, it feels natural, and it feels like this is just the way it is. Don't you know? It's just, this is how it works. And the inability to question, why do I think that that's the case, is a big part of the problem for me. Like, and I think that's the way that I view, well, that's a big part of what leads me to view consumerism and capitalism and our willingness to participate in a society and an economy where we are stolen from and forced to do things that alienate us from what makes us us. It's like, would I trade? And, you know, I guess the more aggressive way of putting it is, would I trade the ability to express yourself through consumer goods, relating a consumer good to what you are as a person? Would I trade that for a better distribution of the wealth of through the distribution of national wealth? Yeah, in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? If I had to have a cheaper guitar or some shit, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's a no-brainer. Like, if no one's gonna starve to death anymore? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, but
Yeah.
like, I understand that. Like, but here's the great part. Here's the best part of that whole story. You don't have to sacrifice any of that. We have the resources to provide these things now with minimal sacrifice. The sacrifice may be, yeah, maybe like, you know, you can't just be like, I want this, like, fucking, I don't know, what's the dumbest thing I have in my room? Like, oh, I want to get a lamp that has a certain design on it. I want that lamp. I want that lamp. I can get a lamp, but I want that lamp. I can't get it tomorrow through Amazon. All right. You know, because maybe the workers get a day off or get, like, you know, reasonable working conditions. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, I'll get the lamp in 5 days rather than tomorrow for that. Yeah, I'll do it. Like, everybody should want to do that, right? Like,
I think most people would be down.
I think so too if it was laid out that way. But there's a massive propaganda machine telling people that if you say, I think that we can work towards a better future for all people, that people will come in there backed by millions of dollars, and they'll say, that person who said they want a better life for people, what they actually mean is they want to implement a new world order that's going to strip people of all rights. The entire white race is going to be eliminated from existence, and we will be burning in hell due to pure chaotic, satanic lifestyles. Children will be all gay and transgender, literally committing suicide on a daily basis, just hating life. That's what they tell you is going to happen. What if you just say,
Look what's happening right now, though.
Pretend to believe. Yeah. Because that's so much better than what happens now, yeah. When they put fucking suicide nets outside the windows of the factories in China because they know the workers are going to jump out the windows to try to end their life because they can't deal with their working conditions. That's sick. I love it.
And just simply like the rates of fucking depression and anxiety in this country is insane.
Yep.
Everybody our age, younger and older, all fucking jacked up. You know, literally trying to find any possible way to numb the pain of having to cope with this boring, shitty little life. And you know, they have nobody around them that's genuine because everyone's afraid to be genuine because they're too anxious to be genuine.
Right.
You know,
don't want to seem
so then
beta.
they can't be genuine.
You don't want to seem beta
or
like fucking gay, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
But you know, it's really like, and everyone's all fucking jacked up, man.
Yeah.
And you know, and you see it all the time. And as soon as you, every time with me, every time I talking to some person outside, you break down that wall once, and they're like, "Holy shit! Thank God." And you just can, you know, you can see them breathe for the first time in like months or years, depending on who it is. And you're like, see, life is regular. Everything's cool. You know?
Like that. That should be a slogan, man. We should start a company and make it say, life is regular, everything's cool. And then market that and sell it. We should put that on a t-shirt, dude.
Yeah. Make it into, and then we'll branch out from there too. We'll do, TV, probably a TV show.
Yeah. We'll put like a third eye on the shirt. Be like, life is regular, everything's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll sell it.
Yeah.
We'll create health supplements and be like, drink
drink
these chemicals and it'll really lift your mood. Just buy it.
Yeah.
Just work and then buy it and then your mood will be better. That's the problem. You just haven't bought enough yet. That's it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You know, God, it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, that felt. Yeah. You just haven't bought enough yet. That's what we really need to realize. That's why we struggle.
That's a t-shirt though.
Yeah.
I'll wear that t-shirt. I'll make it myself.
I'll try to look up a branding deal for that, you know, see if we can get some sponsorships or something like that, you know. Maybe it'll be like...
You just haven't bought enough yet.
Yeah, you just haven't bought enough yet.
Sponsored by
Volks.
Brought to you by
Gucci.
Manscaped.
Yeah. It's not, by the way.
Do you have pubic hair? and you feel like it's not socially acceptable to have pubic hair.
You're fucking
Shave that shit off.
disgusting. Fix that, you dumb
Yeah.
bitch. Yeah.
Dude, oh my god, the fucking disgusting video should have been sponsored by Manscaped.
Oh, you're right. Hey, man. Who knows? Shout out Manscaped, by the way. Hit us up.
You're disgusting. You're disgusting.
Fix that, you bitch.
Because honestly, though, I hate that shit. I really like all that cultural implication around like proper grooming and all this shit. It's so fucking R word.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Totally agree. It's wilding out, man.
Yeah, it's quite silly.
Yeah.
I've been saying this to a lot of people lately. I'm like, people are really fucking goofy. That's my new thing.
I like
I'm
that.
calling people goofy because I'm talking to people that are not you.
It makes
And
it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to just.
Sorry,
I
go
don't want to
ahead,
make
go
it
ahead.
too.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it too harsh, but I've been using goofy a lot because it's the right word. Because I want to say slow, but
Yeah,
it's
but
not even slow. They're goofy. They're just
they
goofy,
are goofy
people
though. You're
going
right.
around just like
Yeah, I don't
know
even-
anything, and you're like, yeah, what?
Right. To be honest, the natural reaction to kind of insult people like that is there, but we got to try to work on that and be like, yeah, they are goofy. You're right. That's the best way to put it. And honestly, I'll probably try to use that type of idea. I don't know if it'll be the word goofy, but maybe it will. But yeah, I like that better because I do feel bad when I talk about my fellow human being and I'm like, these fucking idiots want to do this and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because they're not. Like, we were all that person at some point. No one was born bad, but they were taught to be bad. And then after being taught to be bad, they thought, once I get the car, I'm going to be fucking the man, and then I'll be fucking these girls, and I'll be, like, dope and stuff. Not everybody thinks that, but, like, it's a pretty common thing. And maybe they don't say those words, but they pretty much live their life to drive themselves in that direction. A lot of the time. Not always. But it's very, very
sometimes
common.
it's just people that you see walk into a bar, and you just know they're going to order a Jaeger bomb.
Yeah, that should be the only circumstance where a hate crime is legal. Like, if the Supreme Court should rule that protections for health and security are stripped from people who are aesthetically likely to order a Jaeger bomb.
It was actually really funny because, like I told you, I was hanging out with the bartenders last night, and we were talking about those specific types of people. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They exist.
Yeah.
I've been that person. I have walked into a bar and
no, nothing is
ordered
wrong
a
with
Jaeger bomb.
ordering a Jaeger bomb every now and then. But
Yeah, but if you're
there's a specific type of person that they're gonna order.
Right.
Like if I ordered a Jaeger bomb, it would be surprising, but they would give it to me. But it would be a little. They're like, oh, okay, you're doing it for the meme. Yeah, I'm doing it for the meme. Let's do it for the meme.
Exactly, yeah, and that's pretty much a bit of the reason. Also because it was like, all right, it tastes good, it's late, and we're going. You know what I mean? But that's kind of the reason why people order Jaeger bombs, right? So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
No,
It is
hate
what
towards
it is.
people who like Jaeger bombs. I'm just fucking teasing.
No, I know. We're both people who have ordered Jaeger bombs, and we're shitting on people who order Jaeger bombs. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
This is it okay? You want to take a break? I just have to pee really bad again.
Yeah, do it. Take a break.
Okay. Yeah, you want to still talk, or you want to take a break?
I'm down. Let's take a break and we'll.
All right. Okay.
We'll come back.
Be right back,
Yeah.
everybody. Momentarily. we are back, everybody.
Ooh, yeah. This is a 2-break episode. Look at that.
Yeah, long one.
Yeah.
But
I've been really feeling like I spent playing Disco Elysium has been a really fun thing, generally speaking, for me, because I think about Harry a lot. It's a very fun, not fun maybe, but like kind of perfect anti-hero character.
yeah,
Like his arc in that is like, I don't know, it's so, because I've also like been hanging out at the bars a lot lately, and I've been meeting a lot of Harrys, along with
Oh.
myself. I would consider myself an occasional Harry, you know.
yeah, same here.
And like, it's just so interesting to me how sad everybody kind of is.
Yeah,
And I mean, this obviously goes back to the capitalist thing, but it also has a lot to do with like interpersonal relationships, and that's a big thing I think for a lot of people,
yeah.
is that they have a real difficult time connecting with other people, and obviously most people will use alcohol to overcome that. But that only does so much, because especially if you spend enough time drinking with people, and especially if you're not drinking to excess and you're hanging out with them, you can see them, and you start kind of catching on to like the mental loops people get into.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and they drink and they're just like, they tell like the same couple of stories over and over again type of thing, because like it's like they're trying to figure something out, it seems like, but no one's like giving them the tools to help them figure it out. It's a very interesting thing. I've been watching that a lot lately, and I don't really know what to do about it, but it is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it goes back to like a theory of mine that's like, you know, when it comes to like art, it's like, I forget who said it. Someone said it, but it's like, you know, every artist is only really trying to say one thing, and they just are trying to say it over and over again
Okay.
in different ways.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like whether it's poetry, books, paintings, any kind of art form, it's like they have like the one thing that's like in them that they're trying to get out.
Yeah. I never
But,
thought of it that way.
yeah.
That's why, yeah, I'm like, it's true though, really. Like, I think that's why, I don't know. I think a big part of why, you know, okay, we were talking about like consumer goods being like a form of expression for certain people and stuff like that and whatever. And how, you know, and using your job as like a way to get an identity for yourself or the goods you own to identify with and things like that. Like, I really do believe like that is pretty much what you said is pretty much one of the core reasons why I think we talk about these things. It's like people are very passionate. Earlier you said like people want to do things, you know, they don't want to just sit around and like kind of, you know, waste away. I don't know how you said it, but like I'm paraphrasing. But like it's like every single person is doing things every single day. They're doing things. We just consider some things to be, yeah, you're doing stuff, and some things to be, you're doing nothing. And there's some validity to that. I mean, you can look at it if you're judging the doing of the thing, I guess, to put it in a simple way. Like, as like, is it valuable? Is it... But like, that value, what is the metric for that value that you're... What are you assigning? Where does the value come from? Like, what... Like, are you doing something that is seemingly of value to you because it's going to increase your net worth? Are you doing it because it's going to... You think it's going to make you happier because owning this has been a dream of yours and, you know, you just really always wanted to have that car or that guitar or that sick-ass graphics card or something like that. It's like you bought a thing. You know what I mean? You just bought a thing. And, like, it's not like you bought a thing that's bad in and of itself. If you're like I said before, like, you want to own the guitar because, like, you love the way that you can use it and it makes you feel like you can really do the thing you want to do, or the car that lets you work on the thing that you wanted to work on, and, like, whatever. You know, that's where I kind of draw the line there, because that's just my personal understanding of it. I just don't get how, like, I'm pressing the pedal on a vehicle that I purchased, and it was designed by someone else, and I'm simply operating the machine to do its intended purpose. Therefore, that reflects upon me. I don't get that. If you're working on it and you're doing something to it, yeah, for sure. I get that. A computer. If you're just like, I just want to have a dope computer, I mean, all right, you got it. Cool. It's like, if you're just trying to game on it, like, I don't know. But if you're trying to do something with a piece of hardware that's going to allow you to do things that were previously undoable for you, buy the thing. But I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, buying goods is not who you are. Or it has no reflection on who you are. It's what you do with your time. Because like you said, once again, what you said, time is the resource that is the most valuable and the most precious. You said limited, but it is limited in this. The reason why it's important to notice the limit of it is because it's so precious and you can never get it back. Yeah. So
yeah, exactly. And the thing is too, like, someone who buys a really nice computer, it's like, are you buying the really nice computer to experience a game a certain way, or like to be able to program something a certain way? Or are you buying a really nice computer so that you have the best computer out of your friends?
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, because those are very different things.
100%.
You know, or do you want to post a picture of it on PC Master Race?
Exactly. Yeah. No, exactly. And yeah, it's,
you know, and that's the thing with cars too. You know, it's like, there's people who like love vintage cars and they know everything about them, and they fix them up and they, you know, they do the whole thing. That's cool to me.
I love
you know,
that.
it's like both history and craftsmanship and like a collector's piece. That's cool. And I'm sure that works with modern cars as well. People like really get into them and they know everything about them. They treat it the same way that, like, you know, me and you treat, like, you know, either music or whatever, like authors and stuff that we like talk about and that we like know about their life, and like, you know, there's like a whole thing to it. It's not just like, I bought this book because the cover looked cool and now I have it on my shelf.
Exactly.
You know, because there's people who buy cars like that too. You know?
For sure.
They're like, this car looked cool and I heard it was cool, so it's in my garage now.
Yeah. You know what I like about that? So the other day, I just went on this like kick of like, I was just typing into YouTube, like, how does this work? Like, the first thing I typed in for some reason, even though I am not a car guy. Like, literally, if it was up to me, cars would barely exist. Like, railroads and stuff and public transportation would be king. But like, I looked up, like, how does a car engine work? And like, to be honest, I
haven't had a car in 10 years. I just realized that's pretty good.
Wow, not since the white Impala?
Impala.
Like the 2001
that was given to me by my
Impala? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love
that. My grandma gave me on her goddamn deathbed.
Oh,
Ooh-wee.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey. Man, it went to
She's
good
like,
use, though. It did.
Here,
you had the skull.
Dude, I love that car.
You had the skull on the dashboard. Oh, you have it? Oh my god. Come on. Oh my god, that's crazy.
This is meaning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Meaningless but meaningful.
Right, and you know, I mean, I don't mean to be too.
Can you believe that? I brought that with me across the country.
Right, because listen, there's a difference between, look, if you purchased that item and simply expected to receive the gratification that comes from owning the item, would you have brought that with you? No, it's the fact that it was a part of memories. It was like just an aesthetic choice that you made.
You know who?
What's up?
Steven, actually. Steven just gave me that randomly one time when we were hanging out.
Oh, there you go.
He like
it wasn't
threw
even a
it to me
purchase.
from no, I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
From Mike's car, I think. And I was like, okay. And then it was in my car for a little bit. And I was like, oh, let's tape it on the dashboard. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And it sat there for however many years. And then when I moved to Brooklyn, I was like taking the skull as like a memory.
Yeah.
And like an important part of the, like Long Island life. And then moved here and I was like taking the skull. It was one of the first things that I brought with me.
I love that. See, there's
it's like that's the difference
distinction.
between consumerism and meaning.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like producing goods is of course essential, right? We need
to an extent, yeah.
Yeah, we need to we live in a material world. We are material beings, Like we interact with the world in a material way 100% of the time. All of our senses relate to matter, It's like
we're very
to deny that would be like literally denying what it means to be human. But there's a bastardization of it that makes it
perversion of it.
A perversion of it that makes it so that in consuming it for the sake of consumption and ownership, that is what puts a screen over our humanity, I feel like.
Yes.
And
there's a huge difference. You made me think of this. There's a huge difference between value and value.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Right?
Because I will want to elaborate a little more.
Well,
I think I already know
the
what
amount of
you
people
mean.
like you can value your objects or you can place value on your objects.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, there's many people, and this is totally normal and totally regular, but they like buy new clothes every year all the time. They're always buying new clothes.
Right.
Because they gotta keep up with the fashion of the time or whatever. They gotta have the new thing.
Right.
And like to an extent I understand that, but to a very much larger extent I think it's completely absurd.
Absolutely. I agree.
It's like because when you're and I definitely have a very specific aesthetic that the way that I dress.
Sure.
But like to me there are like so many people who it feels like they like just buy the mannequin and put it on their body.
Right. Like, what am I supposed to own? Okay, I will purchase the objects that I am supposed to have. Like the clothing that I'm supposed to have. That's what's cool? Okay, I know what's cool, so I will buy it. I'm cool now. Like...
Yeah. There's many people who have told me too. Like, it's like... And there's also like the I want to get with like a fucking like hot goth chick. So like, let me dress like someone they would like.
Oh my God. Okay, I mean...
You know what I mean?
Not to get overly personal. Well, I mean, okay. I'm about to make it sound like I've put on eyeliner and wore like a trench coat to try to get with goth chicks, quote unquote. No, I'm just saying like I even kind of recoil at the idea of like I have made choices about my appearance in my life for reasons that are very similar to that. But I feel like everybody has done that, and that's not to say it makes it like, oh, I'm okay because I did. I just mean like we've all done that. It's just the fact that you can acknowledge that like, yeah, we're told to do that. You don't have to though. I promise you don't have to. In fact, doing that is gonna probably negate your chances of actually finding happiness or meaning in a relationship. If you're
Fair.
Putting on a costume to impress somebody who doesn't know you, like.
Yeah. I think a big part of it though really is, especially with how you present yourself in the world, it truly comes down to like what makes you actually feel the most comfortable, because it's blatantly obvious when people are dressed up.
Yeah.
When they're not dressing as themselves. They don't necessarily even look comfortable in what they're wearing. They're very clearly like trying to do something, and you're like,
right,
it's not working. I can see
they're
it's not
wearing
working.
a costume.
You look uncomfortable in that leather jacket.
Yeah, it's a costume.
Yeah, so it's like there's so much that goes into why and how people pick clothes and stuff like that, obviously, and it's multi-leveled. But like where the fuck was I going with this? Yeah, think about shit a little bit.
I feel like you already made the point. Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Be you. Be you. Don't be anybody but you. Think about why you're buying stuff.
And I just want to make one thing clear in case people watch this and kind of, if anyone feels like the intention of this is to chastise people who are susceptible to resorting to a consumption method of coping with their stress, or you just like to buy things, you like to express yourself through fast fashion or whatever it may be, or like even you feel good and you feel empowered when you buy expensive clothing or just whatever items that make you feel good. Neither of us are saying that you're a bad person for doing that. What's wrong with you?
Not at all.
The idea is I would encourage people to take a moment to say, hold up. And seriously, I mean, I know no one's probably going to even see this part. We're like 3 hours in. It's like, who's watching 3 hours of this?
If you're here right now and you're watching this, man.
Yeah,
like and subscribe.
I love the fact that you're doing this, and hang out for sure. Like, get involved in the chat too. Yeah, I would love to. Mm-hmm. Anything you say will not be met with animosity or anything like
Malice.
that. We would love to just like see what's up. In fact, that's my point. I'm trying to say, like, people who would disagree with what we're saying, like about consumerism and owning items and defining yourself through them. I'm not saying like, oh, I like how I feel when I wear my favorite shirt or my favorite pair of jeans, or oh, I love these shoes. Yeah, I love some shoes I own and whatever. I love the way that, like, I just go to them and I'm like, why would I need anything else? I like the way this is. Yeah, I bought them with money. I criticize that, but I'm talking about, like, the just mindless, or not even so much mindless, like, I don't even mean to, my point is to not describe it as mindless. I want to emphasize that, like, there is thought that goes into these decisions. But I just want to encourage people to question where that thought is coming from. Is it the thing that you felt inside of yourself as an important thing that you feel you need to really be you? Or is it kind of a self-reaffirming concept of being the better thing, like the better version of yourself that otherwise you could not be? And I don't mean like, oh my God, I can't be myself without this clothing. I mean, are you like, all right, I got to do things better, so I'm going to do this. Because what I'm doing now is not okay. It's not right. I got to work on this. Let's do this. Just ask yourself, is this really what you want? Or is that kind of like the shortcut pathway towards what you think is going to net you the results you want, without actually having to take the risk of going outside of what feels comfortable, and instead just like taking a shot in the dark and saying, this is me. What do you think about it?
Yeah.
And when you say the words to yourself, this is me, what do you think about it? Prepare yourself beforehand to reject the response of, oh, that's not good enough. What are you doing? Oh my God. That's what you're into? Oh my God. Are you serious? Like, fuck that. If that's what you're down with, just get down with it. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Instead of replacing the blocks inside of your little building that you've created over your life, and substituting blocks of your creativity and your passion and your curiosity and your desire to learn, which is kind of curiosity. But
Yes.
don't let those, if you've already replaced those things with, well, I know I can't be a whatever. I can't be a marine biologist. I use that example a lot because I feel like a lot of young people like that. Like, if you have replaced that bit that says, I can't be a marine I want to be a marine biologist. Replace that with, well, I can't do that, but I do love nature and life, so I'll be a fucking, like, accountant for a company that I don't think is that shitty. It's like,
yeah.
is that the compromise? When you, put yourself in that situation where you're now in a lifestyle where people ask, what do you do? And you feel it. You don't just hear it and reject it and then it bounces off of you and you kind of go, nah, I do this, but, this is what I'm about. If you're the person who says, I do this, I do my job, just ask yourself, like, is that really me? Or is this what I've adopted as, like, an acceptable persona that it took me effort to accept? And now that I've accepted it, I feel like I fixed myself and I'm okay now. You were okay before. You were okay the day you were born, and you were okay at every point of your life. You were you, and that's the best thing you could possibly be. You know what I mean? Like,
fuck yeah.
Right.
Fuck that, and yeah, that's the goal of life, is to just truly be yourself. Be a person and fucking make it known.
Just make it known.
That's it.
Get free. You know what I'm saying?
Get fucking free. Seriously.
Yeah.
Live for you.
Yeah.
Ignore all the bullshit. There's so much bullshit, and everyone's gonna tell you their own bullshit. There's a million perspectives, and all of them are valid. But you have yours, and yours is also valid. You understand? That's it. That's it.
Exactly.
And also be open to other people's perspectives too, but know it's theirs, not yours.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Right. I know I feel hypocritical when I do shit on other people's point of views with this. I mean, I'm shitting on hypothetical people's point of views.
Yeah.
But I don't mean it like that. I'm just using it as an example to contrast from what I believe would feel natural to most people. Because unfortunately, most people don't allow what feels natural to them to be at the forefront of their expression. Instead, from what I've seen, it's like, I'm not okay. I gotta build up this barrier that should be the real me. But no matter what you want to think, you're behind the barrier. Just wipe it away. There you are. The same exposed little scared naked rat that was hiding behind that little pile of debris in the first place. And you wipe it away, it's you. It's always going to be you. Yeah. And it's going to get wiped away someday. So I encourage you to accept yourself. That's all. Yeah.
Don't actively live in misery trying to keep up with other people's expectations of what you should do. Because that's a rough way to go.
And when you accept that,
you wake up one day and you're fucking 70 and you're like, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened?
And when you let that happen, I think a lot of the things that seem like, oh, come on, that's not really going to happen in society. Instead of feeling that way about it, I think most people, once they do what we just described, I think those people will start to feel like this is the only thing worth fighting for, is to promote a world where people can do this all the time. And I promise you that will not be a bunch of people sitting at home watching Netflix all day. People will, if given the time to express themselves, they will. That's innovation. It's not competition where people crush each other's ideas and dreams, and people start businesses with the business model of being bought out by a larger corporation. People will work on things that they're passionate about, and that's the only thing they will work on. Rather than crunching numbers for a hedge fund, they'll be thinking about how to, maximize water efficiency for agriculture, or designing computer programs that can, place sustainable energy generators in locations that can be the most efficient. Stuff like that.
And dude, this is the thing as well, right? And when we talk about breaking down the capitalist structure, and all the questions are always like, well, who's going to do this job, who's going to do this job? I mean, it's like we will. Okay, why does no one want to do those jobs, right? Anyway, but like I think through time and through a real cultural shift towards like being and not consuming, we will separate the wheat from the chaff in a real way, and all that shit that's unnecessary in modern life will fade away. Since I've started getting more involved in the community and like going out a lot and hanging out and talking to people and doing this, I have watched zero Netflix, none. I don't need it. I don't need to numb my mind with random storylines, because I'm living the story of my life. How fucking cliche is that? But it's like I'm doing stuff. I don't need the entertainment of someone else, someone else's story. But even more so, it's like all that kind of shit will fall away. And plus, even fucking Adam Smith, the fucking godfather of the capitalist thinking, talks about, if who's going to clean the sewers? Probably no one, because we're going to figure out a way to have them self-clean it, because someone's not going to want to do that job.
I love that you said that. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, no one wants to clean the toilets or the sewers. I guarantee you there are people who really care about. You see these fucking wannabe millionaires who are temporarily embarrassed millionaires or whatever, who are going around talking about Dogecoin going to the moon. Bro, I bet if we look at them as fucking morons, and, sadly, they're not inherently morons, but their actions are moronic oftentimes. And if you took people who were curious about possibilities of different things and whatever, I'm trying to get through this quickly without too much detail, so that may not be the best description, but I'm saying there are a lot of people who, if given the opportunity, and they didn't have to worry about tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt and years of missed opportunity for resources and financial gain, they would be willing to get the education to learn about engineering a type of automation that would be able to handle these things. But yet, we live in a world where automation is viewed as horrific. Automation kills jobs. Why the fuck should someone have to suffer? Dude, if someone's job gets automated, you get your pension and you live your life. You did your service. You're good. You're great, And guess what? Even if you can't provide...
Still talking, but that's...
Well, I said the pension, but that implies that they go ahead and just live off the pension and never fulfill any other desire. But doesn't have to be that way. You can just move on to something else if you want. But you're set. You're good. If you get fired from your job because it got automated, make the government work for you. Because you are the only thing that keeps this world running. Do you think that Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell and fucking Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham and everybody else is the ones that are making this country run, they don't do anything. They have the most meaningless job in the whole world. All they do is decide what me, you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you are allowed to do or not allowed to do. Yeah, there are laws that protect us, and that's good. It's great. But we know what's right and wrong. We don't need some fucking unaccountable piece of shit to say, you're allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this. You want this? Too bad, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Disregard these fucking pieces of shit and just do what means something to you. And we will all be better for it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know if it was you who said this or somebody else recently, but talking about politicians and the federal government generally, their main job is to keep the peace between the average citizen and corporations.
Yeah, I read that on like Reddit, I think, or I saw it on YouTube. But yeah, we talked about it.
That's like
it's so true. Like, it's the so idea true. That it's like you gotta. I forget the exact phrase. It's like, yeah, but essentially the idea is to keep the peace between them. It's like, it's like keep getting funded, like keep the corporations happy enough that they fund you, and keep the people happy enough that they don't kill you, basically, or not kill. Obviously, I misinterpreted that. I mean, so that they don't
vote you out of office.
Vote you out of office or protest peacefully in the streets. Yeah.
God, can you believe that? That's what this whole God. See, we talked about this. We started off this fucking stream talking about the morality of physical harm and stuff like that, and like there's definitely some times in life and in history that it becomes necessary and almost just and maybe even good. All right, we are going to be streaming next Wednesday. This Wednesday coming up, we'll be playing some Disco Elysium probably, and maybe we have a guest that wants to come on too, which might be fun to talk and get some different perspectives on alpha versus beta and capitalism versus communism, and what is the future of this planet have for us. Woo-wee. It's our choice. We'll see you then.
Remember, peace to the world. Peace to your people, man. Your people are all
be good to each other.
Yeah.
Be good to each other.
We are all in this together.
Respect.
We're all made of atoms. We're all made of the base matter of reality. And we all exist on a rock that spins through space-time around a gravitational pull on an irrelevant solar system on an irrelevant planet. And we think it matters how much of a fake thing created by a warped consciousness means to you. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. But
do not let arbitrary boxes define who you are. Truly live outside the box.
Taco Bell.
And I guess with that,
think outside the bun.
Think outside the bun. That's their thing.
Yeah.
Fourth meal, baby.
Yeah, fourth meal is the lesson. Hit up Taco Bell. Get a chalupa, bitch. Let's go.
Get a Crunchwrap Supreme, extra crunch. No Supreme.
No. But yeah, in all seriousness, I don't know. Think about why you're doing what you're doing. I don't know. Whatever. We got through it. Yeah. Whatever. Let's go.
Yeah.
Peace out, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, well.
We'll fucking see you Wednesday.
Yeah. For sure.
We'll see you Wednesday.
Peace.
Love ya.
This is the Pine Man.